When you think of sports and video games, there's only one company that comes to mind, EA. Now, Electronic Arts is one of the most successful and popular game companies of all time. Now, to find out what they have coming up next, we chased them around the world on the EP Show. It's in the show. Now, where are we? This is like the EA Sports Bar?
This is the EA Sports Bar, the one and only.
Yes, I roll. Ho-ho! Now, EA has rewritten the book on sports games in the video game industry. I mean, hands down, the first thing that pops into people's mind when you think of EA is the sports game. What's the biggest seller? Would it be Madden football?
It would be, although FIFA Soccer is a close second.
Yeah.
And NHL Hockey and NBA Live are nipping on their heels.
Right.
But Madden, which has been around in one form or another for over 10 years, is well over 10 million units in its lifetime now.
It's a great day for Electronic Arts Canada today. We're about to pour the first footing for our new building.
In the early days of our company, we worked on educational titles, simulation, action products, and we found that we really had probably more core competencies in sports.
If you yell out, "I want an EA hockey game," we will give you one.
I want an EA hockey game.
Yell it.
I want an EA hockey game.
From your diaphragm, come on.
I want an EA hockey game.
All right.
All of our sports titles this fall, FIFA, NBA Live, NHL, they're all 3D effects compatible. So I mean, it's great frame rate, huge resolution. The games are getting so realistic nowadays.
And every chance of a flowing game of football today.
And action.
I really think that at this time in Vancouver, we did a really good job because all the contractors, they put a grass like a normal pitch. When you see the results after on the computer, on the screen, it's just amazing to see.
Would you trade me a donut for an EA Sports t-shirt?
Yeah, for sure. How many donuts do you want?
We went for a whole new view. You know, this year the product has a much lower camera angle. The players are bigger. The motion capture is all new. Tons of frames of animation. But what we really tried to shoot for was the great gameplay. You guys have been working their butts off for the last 2 weeks to get this game out.
How many people have been sleeping here lately? Everybody, yeah? How many polygons per character are you guys running?
Well, there's several different sizes of characters depending on how close they are to the camera.
Right.
But the highest polygon count's around 300.
What do you want for Christmas? An EA t-shirt.
The players have got a lot of detail in their faces, and you can go in and you can edit them.
Oh, wow.
So we have different nationalities. So we have Eurasian, African, North American.
Hey, buddy, you're going the wrong way.
Jeff Gordon's in there, Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace, all the big drivers are there with all the big tracks, Talladega, Michigan, Atlanta.
17 tracks, you're saying?
The green flag is out.
And Cody, boy, are we tired.
Very tired.
Tired.
Too tired.
If you juggle for me, I will give you the FIFA 97.
Uh-oh.
Get it!
The Ducks got it! The Duck got it!
I'm gonna need you to speak into the shoe here. This is Jack Shoe.
Yeah!
March Madness 98.
March Madness 98. And it's all about college basketball.
College basketball at its best.
1, 2, 3!
I'm looking, from nowhere, from behind.
That is the harshest foul!
Do you play no spinnies?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, cool. Is that cheating when I go like that? Is that?
Oh, just a little bit, Tom.
Oh.
So do you like the t-shirt?
Yeah. Do you have any more video games?
Yeah.
All right, pick one.
Cool. Do you guys want more donuts?
What would you say to people out there that don't play games?
Just try it, because if all you think about video games is your girlfriend's brother playing 8-bit Nintendo or something, things have really changed.
We're running an optical motion capture system with 8 cameras. It shoots 240 frames a second, synchronized between all 8 cameras. It's an all-digital system, goes right to a hard disk, so there is no film, no videotape. gets spooled to the hard drives. He takes the data from the cameras where they triangulate in on each marker, figure out where his body is, what his body's doing, output it to a skeleton that has all the subtlety and all the beautiful things of his movement.
Iserman passes. Hextall made the save.
And this year we had stuff like Mark Crawford coming up from, he's a Stanley Cup winning coach of the Colorado Avalanche. To work with the production team, just breaking down on the chalkboard, you know, what is a box in one, what's the funnel, different ways that you can do a better strategy in the game so that it plays more realistic.
You're going to play here thinking more about this way.
Honey dip or honey dew?
Sugar powdered ones, and then one of the chocolate ones. I want a chocolate donut, please.
Okay, everyone, come on, let's put down those donuts. 1 and a 2.
Grand Theft Auto Advance. In stores now. Rated M for mature.
Coming up this week, we're telling you about the games of spring.
And don't miss G4TV.retro, classic episodes of the show every day at 4 p.m.
Not 8, 4. No, it's 8.
Hey, I got a question.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are curious as to why Nintendo has stuck with cartridges and has stayed away from the CD-ROM technology.
Can somebody at Nintendo please give me the inside scoop?
Why cartridges, Ken?
Yeah, why cartridges, Ken?
We made the right choice. That would be my conclusion. I would tell you why. I'm sure most people have read and heard these arguments before. But the reality is, with a video game, you need the data fast. With a CD-ROM, you're basically playing your game from RAM. There are some exceptions where you can spool the data off the CD-ROM into RAM and then kind of play it in a very fixed sequence, because now your data is coming off almost like off of a long, skinny piece of tape, imagine. So I can't say I'm here and no, I want to be there, no, I want to be here, no, there. With a cartridge, you're doing kind of the same thing. When I start my level, all the data comes from the cartridge and goes into RAM, and I'm playing from RAM. The difference is, as I'm playing, let's say I go around a corner in Diddy Kong Racing, and there's going to be the big, giant dinosaur. He's not sitting in RAM until I get near that place on the track, and we go, oh, we need the big, giant dinosaur, and they go grab him off the cartridge, and they stick him in to RAM, and then they display it on the screen, and then, you know, you go around the corner, he's gone, we don't need him anymore, we need the big, flamey volcano. Go get it off cartridge, stick it into RAM, display it on the screen. All this is happening completely transparent. Gee, I put it in, turn it on, I'm playing in 3 seconds. That's a huge benefit. But the reality is that's not the reason why we go with cartridge. It's because of DMA, which is direct memory addressing, which means you can go to the ROM while you're playing a level. That makes our games what they are. We have 4 megabytes of RAM in the Nintendo 64 right now. Let's just say, for example, that instead of a cartridge, we had a CD-ROM. You could not play any of the games that have been released. Cartridges are growing dramatically. As what has been announced recently, you know, Legend of Zelda is going to be on a 32 megabyte cartridge. That would be 4 times the size of Mario 64, and it would be about 64 times the size of Super Mario World, I believe. And this isn't stopping. You know, ROM is going to continue to grow and grow and grow, and there will be ROMs that are the size of CD-ROMs today within 5 years. I think if you look at what's Nintendo's philosophy, right? It's not what can we make cheaper, which is the only reason to go to CD-ROM. If you look at every argument, there's always something you can say, why would you not go with CD-ROM? It's so cheap.
Yeah, all that stuff is great, but what about the 64DD?
Well, the other reason to go away from ROM alone is the writability aspect of the 64DD.
What is that thing?
Okay, Kenny, the Nintendo 64 disk drive, Nintendo's next generation add-on device. Adds an additional 4 megabytes of RAM to the N64. Disc will store up to 64 megabytes of game info, read-write capabilities, internet connectivity for future game upgrades.
If you look at what's happened with video games over the years, they grow in the sense of story and the sense of interactivity of how a character can interact with his environment. GoldenEye, I can shoot all these bullet holes. But what if I had a game that was 10 times bigger than GoldenEye, and I could knock down walls or cut down trees or flood areas or blow things up, and they would stay that way forever on my disc because I did them, they always stay that way. And you're never going to do that on CD-ROM or DVD, and you're not going to do it on ROM alone. It's not just I can save a really big save file, you know. Yeah. It means I can save a lot of details about what's going on in the game. And in some games, yeah, it just might be I can save every stat that you've ever imagined in a sports game. You know, or something simple like in GoldenEye, I could save every bullet hole. But, you know, you get to the point where you start realizing, you know, I can have dramatic effect on the environment. Let's say I've had a game for a year. You know, I'm done, and I haven't played it in a long time. And I go back and it's like, whoa, there's trees growing where I cut down this field or something. You know, how can that be? I haven't even turned the game on for a year. Well, they can go check the clock that's in the 64DD and say, he hasn't turned the game on for a while. We need to update what's going to happen because 10 months have passed.
Hey, out of the way,
Ouch! EP. It's a full contact show.
Use the crystals to expel the mist that poisons your world. Battle alone or with friends by connecting up to 4 Game Boy Advance systems. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, only for Nintendo GameCube. Rated D for teen.
Buried Treasure is brought to you by EB Games.
I'm here at EB Games and I found myself a buried treasure. This is a game that I really loved. It's called Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. It was out for the PC and then LucasArts brought it out to the N64 in limited quantities, so it was very difficult to find. It's set in 1947, so World War II is over. Now he's facing the Soviet Red Army. Like every good Indiana Jones movie, there's all kinds of really cool environments in this game. You'll be running around in the snow, you'll go to the ruins in Babylon, you'll go to Egyptian ruins, lots of tombs. He's got some rafting missions that he's got to take care of. The narrative is very good. There's some really cool voice acting in there. The guy actually sounds a little bit like Harrison Ford. The theme music is great to hear again. And there's tons of exploration and action in this game. It's a great find. It's called Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine for the Nintendo 64. This definitely is a buried treasure.
Check out this and other buried treasures at EB Games. We take games seriously.
Sega Saturn's most exciting shooter is about to become the Sega Saturn's most exciting RPG, Panzer Dragoon Saga for the Sega. Saga for the Sega? That's a lot of sibilants.
Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Basically, it's capitalizing on the success we've had with Panzer series as a flying shooter and the success Sega is known for with RPGs and melding that into one. The flight is real-time, 3D. One of the huge differences is that you're actually going to be flying in full 3D. Previously, it was railed flying. Everybody's always wished, I want to be able to fly that Dragon anywhere I want to go. Well, not only now can you do that, but you also can get off the Dragon, go into cities, do standard RPG interaction. It's going to be 4 discs long, so it's huge. You know, we're estimating at least over 100 hours of gameplay. There's 2 types of storytelling in here. We'll have the amazing, beautiful FMV stuff. We also have really beautiful stuff that was done with the engine, so it's seamless. And what we're taking a look at is the actual gameplay right now. As you can see, I can bring up a cursor, access things. I can fly anywhere I want. Standard RPG style of entering a battle. I'll be flying along and come into contact with enemies, and it brings me into the battle interface. This is where I can pull up spells. I'm going to show you a really nice flashy spell right here.
What's the background with the Panzer Dragoon story? Is it something that Sega just came up with in
It's
95
Mobius did some art that some people in Japan recognized, and a team of designers and developers took a look at that and sort of got a concept of this future world after an information age. And everything's kind of primitive again, and people start discovering this old technology as well as discovering these creatures, these dragoons. We're seeing RPGs become much more successful in America. It took a while for them to catch on, but they have, and they're here to stay.
If you own a Sony PlayStation, then you probably own a Psygnosis game. If not, then you suck! Now, Psygnosis is known for doing a lot of cool games on the PlayStation. Wipeout, Formula F1, Destruction Derby. Now, 2 of their latest games, Colony Wars and G-Police, are kick-ass. Let's take a look.
Victor Lucas with Electric Playground. I'm with Lisa Cheney, who's a product manager for
Colony Wars. Our primary objective is to give the player a feeling of truly being in the midst of a war that's taking place in space. Has over 5 hours of voiceover work, 25 minutes of full motion video sequences. It takes place over 70 missions divided into 18 acts.
Are you basically one person against the entire universe?
So you actually have wingmen that are fighting with you. You get advice from your headquarters and your wingmen about what's going on.
Immediate response required.
I wasn't expecting to stay home.
The streaking star effect, how is that done?
And we use a small particle system in order to give a big impression of speed.
One of the weapons is a grapple hook. They can't get away. Keep blasting at them until they explode.
We're taking influences from Babylon 5, Star Wars, Star Trek, anything with space in it. We've analyzed it and taken the best elements.
In the game, you actually get 3 different viewpoints that you can fight with. That was the external that you just saw before. This is our virtual cockpit, and there's also an internal view without the cockpit. And what he's doing now is he's actually taking out the shields of the enemy. The enemy, that's the Imperial Navy there, that are blue. The League of Free Worlds is green.
And what we've tried to do is introduce the most interesting aspects of space, your nebulas, your planets. We have warp holes and black holes and jump gates.
How long did it take you to come up with the idea and get it all down there?
We began Colony Wars about 16 months ago. We went through about a 3-month design phase, and then it's been a rolling design which has evolved as the game has been produced.
I'd flown these babies on Mars during the war, and they were past their prime even then.
We're going to see games get closer and closer to reality in the next few years, and I can see that GP spearheads the way in that.
Good work.
Let me just change to £1,000 bomb. This is, occasionally you've got to level buildings. There you go. This is what I mean by the game being realistic and filmic.
As you're probably aware, Internal Affairs are now investigating us, so no foul-ups, no heroics, and definitely no friendly fire incidents.
I mean, Blade Runner's sort of vision of the future is the perfect one, as far as I'm concerned. It really is the benchmark for a good-looking game. So we thought, right, we'll go for that. We'll make sure the city's quite dense. There's a lot of stuff going around. Blade Runner was a good influence as well.
What do you think the secret is to getting more people to play games?
Do a good game. I mean, a lot of games before was aimed at a low age group, but Sony have pushed the age range up a bit to sort of mid-20s and upwards. So, it's getting a lot more popular with a lot more people.
He's owned by the corporation Krakow, and there's a virus in his control systems that's making him shoot the bystanders. I've actually started shooting him, so he's having a go at me now. What I can do, I'll use the electronic pulse paralyzer. So let's fire a few infrared missiles. Let's fire a few hypervelocity missiles. And bang, he's gone.
G-Police is so filmic and so realistic. For the first time, we're able to play the hero in your very own action film.
You have your ideal, then you try and turn that ideal into a game. And all the while, you're having to pull things back, you're having to take things out. The computers are getting so very powerful now, with the accelerator cards, the power is immense, that we can actually start delivering the games as we intended them.
What you've just witnessed is a taste of what we call the EP zone.
Take out those ATSTs.
You heard the commander. Let's take care of those ATSTs.
Ever been told that broadband is out of reach just because of where you live? Don't believe it. Say hello to high-speed internet by satellite. HughesNet, the #1 choice for satellite internet service in the country. And you can get it right now. So dump your slow dial-up and jump into the high-speed action you've been craving. Faster surfing, faster downloads, instant email access? HughesNet delivers. And it doesn't use a phone line, so missed calls and dialing in are a thing of the past. All you need is a clear view of the southern sky. HughesNet is brought to you by Hughes, the leading provider of satellite communications worldwide. How cool is that? So what are you waiting for? You're done with waiting. Call 1-800-488-2828 now or visit gethughesnet.com and live the high-speed life in no time. HughesNet, bringing broadband to everyone. Call now. You're welcome.
This game is totally immersive. As far as you could tell, if you had perhaps gotten a little too into it, you might think it is reality. And so it was very clear that this was the way to go in terms of diverting those nasty impulses.
Today on the Simpatico Question of the Week, George the Lame Gamer Costas from Vancouver asks, why are some games so difficult?
Probably the hardest lesson for a developer to learn is how to balance your game. Yeah. The problem is, as you play the game that you're programming, it's always too easy because you can do it. So you program it, and then the next week, it's too easy. So then you make it harder, and then you make it harder, and then you make it harder. And what you're doing is you're programming a game for yourself. Well, what happens when you throw it into the lap of some 12-year-old, or even in our case, we'll give a game to our people that are bug testing, or some of the game counselors we'll bring down for a white paper test, which is a test for someone that's never played the game before, and it's impossible, So drilling this into the developers' minds is a big part of what we try and do.
Hey, to send us your questions, all you have to do is check out our website at ep.simpatico.ca. What'd you think of PaRappa the Rapper, man, for the PlayStation?
You gotta believe.
You gotta believe.
No, this is a game that is an instant cult classic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a real innovative game. The look of it, I gotta be honest with you.
I love the flat characters walking around.
PaRappa in Japanese means paper thin. I gotta admit, the first time I put this game in, I'm like, what is this crap?
Yeah.
But it is, what is it?
PaRappa the Rapper.
That's what I used to call it, Crapper the Rapper. No, after about the first 30 seconds, you just fall into it, and you gotta love it.
It's all about timing. You gotta hit the buttons and controls at the proper time, and you get in sync with the rhythm of the music that's throughout the game, which is all...
You got the kick, punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kick, punch. Oh, yeah. In the rain or in the snow. In the rain or in the snow. Got the funky flow. Come on, we really got to go. In the rain or in the snow, you got to funky flow. It's excellent.
He's really good at it. So it's not something you're going to pick up unless you are a musician.
The cutscenes, hilarious.
Yeah.
The best one is
when they all got to go to the bathroom.
Well, how about when he crashes his dad's car?
Oh yeah.
And he's like, oh no, my dad's gonna bite me.
My dad's gonna bite me.
The toilet scene's the best though. Vic nailed it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Pretty hilarious.
You gotta out-rap all the people before you go to the bathroom in your pants.
I'm hoping there's many sequels. I hope they keep bringing this character back. I hope it's a huge hit. 9.5 out of 10. Great game.
Yep, 9.5. I'm with you on that.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right, what about Last Bronx for the Sega Saturn?
Now, Last Bronx for the Saturn, I give this one a high score right off the top.
Yeah.
For the main reason that there's a character in there named Tommy, and he rules.
Note to game developers, if you want a high score on the show.
That's right.
Give it the Vein Boy over here.
I think it's one of the fastest fighting games I've seen for the Saturn. And it looks great.
It does.
I mean, it looks really good.
Straight up,
you got little weapons
it's my
going on.
favorite. That and Bushido Blade are my favorite weapon fighters for the year.
Here's where they could have improved it. There's a little, when two characters are going into their spins and something, I saw a little slowdown there.
Yeah.
I saw a little, it was chugging.
Still, man, the resolution is really high.
It's good.
Virtual Fighter 2 resolution. The characters look great. The weapons are awesome. The speed is excellent. The actual foreground action, the stuff that's going on between the fighters is really solid. It's as solid looking as Virtual Fighter 2 was. All you need for the Saturn in terms of fighting games are that Last Bronx and Fighters Megamix, and you're kicking.
It's a great fighting game. Doesn't really have all the bells and whistles, but I still give it a high score. I had a 9.0.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9.5. I'd definitely check this one out.
Well, this is no fun. We're agreeing on everything.
I know, this sucks.
What's the last game?
The last game is... Oh, mass destruction.
Oh.
For the Sony PlayStation.
Guess we won't be agreeing on everything then. Come on, this is a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
Okay, I know the game is simple, and I've talked before about how I like simple games.
Yeah.
If you're going to be simple like that, it's got to be graphically beautiful to me.
Jazz it up.
And I look at a game like Nuclear Strike.
It's no Nuclear Strike. It's not even Return Fire for the 3DO, which it kind of looks like in some ways.
Graphics are a bit poor.
Yeah. But still, you get tons of power-ups, you get a cool tank, you get the turret control, so you can be driving in one direction and shooting in another.
I couldn't even play it with the analog controller or the digital.
Well, at least you can use the analog controller. One analog controller handles the movement, the other one is the turrets. Once you get it down, it's pretty cool. Sounds lame. Graphics aren't that great, but it's fun. There's lots of stuff to blow up, and you wouldn't think that in a game called Mass Destruction. I'd give it 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10?
Yeah, what would you give it?
I'm a 6.2 on this puppy.
6.2?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's a fair score.
Do you want to go back to sleep there?
Yeah. You bit tired?
No.
No? All right.
You gotta believe what you wanna do when you come. You gotta believe what you wanna do when you come. You gotta believe.
Thanks for coming by.
What?
Thanks for coming by.
I'm doing this. I don't want to do that. What'd you do that for?
Production assistance for the Electric Playground was provided by Nintendo of Canada and Heat.net.
Allison's gonna give us a quote from FIFA 98. Yahoo! Did you catch a duck?
Look, Mom, don't do karate.
Look, Fighter's Mega Mix for the Sega Saturn.
If you showed up FIFA 98, I'll give you an EA t-shirt.
That's so risky.
I was on TV and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
This week on Sweat, Rossi heads to Houston to game with the NFL's best at the Madden Bowl.
What you doing on the ground, man? Come on.
Hang out at the hottest parties.
It's live, man.
And talk NFL fever with League MVP Peyton Manning.
People are going to start beating me now when I play them.
That's why you come to Madden Bowl, and that's what it's all about. Get in on the action with a special pigskin party edition of Sweat, Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Presented by Jeep. If it's not trail rated, it's not a Jeep 4x4. G4 at E3 is brought to you by the Jeep brand, the 4x4s that play as hard as you do.
Hey, I'm Bill Sindelar, and you're watching Blister, the straw that stirs the action drink. And today's concoction is a delightful blend of action titles that have a real kick to them. We'll check out the galactic warfare of Master of Orion 3, do some air and water rescue with Seablade, and test the armor of Nightcaster 2. Plus, we'll get reloaded with Tribes 2, and we'll look at Seek and Destroy and HSX Hypersonic Extreme for the budget crowd. But first, may I interest you in a game that smells sweet but has the aftertaste of tire tread? It's Burnout 2, which is making its way to the Xbox and GameCube. The Burnout philosophy can be summed up in one word: speed. Inspired, or is it imitated by legendary films like The Fast and the Furious? Burnout 2 challenges you to put the pedal to the metal and stuff the notion of defensive driving in the trunk.
Good afternoon, Blister Race fans. Daryl Sindelar Waltrip here. You better check your oil and clean the windshields, cause we're about to go on a bumpy ride. And that ride is Burnout 2 Point of Impact, available for your PlayStation 2, but more importantly, newly available and enhanced for the Xbox and GameCube. I hope you got a Thomas guide, cause with the original Burnout 2, you get 6 locations, including Los Angeles, the Rocky Mountains, and if you're in the mood for a long, strange trip, the Bay Area. 21 cars are at your disposal, 7 of them super secret vehicles that you can unlock. Now that's pretty sweet and all, but when I'm living my life a quarter mile at a time, I like to drive a pickup. That's how Sindelar plays the game, that's how Sindelar wins the game. But what if Sindelar wants to play Burnout 2 on the Xbox? Well, ask and ye shall receive. I got an exclusive pre-alpha version of Burnout 2 to show you Xbox owners. Don't say I never did anything for you.
On Burnout 2, for Xbox, we wanted to have some exclusive content, so we thought let's make the Xbox different. Apart from the graphics, where we can make more polygons on all of the cars and make it look a lot more detailed on screen, as well as having the 5.1 Dolby Digital sound, as well as doing HD TV support, things like this. What we wanted to do was add some exclusive content. One of the big hits of Burnout 2 was a mode called Crash Mode, where it's basically roll down the hill and perform a big wreck. So we made this turn-based party mode called Crash.
In Crash Mode, the object is to drive down the road, crash into the oncoming traffic, and wreak havoc. The more monetary damage you cause, the more you win. Burt Reynolds would have loved this game. They called him the Bandit, you know.
We added, in the second half of Burnout 2, there's a selection of vehicles called Custom Series, and this is our sort of Fast and the Furious type cars. So on Xbox, we decided to add some extra decal sets. So this way we figured if you saw the game in a magazine or on TV, if you saw some new car, the only way to get that car is to see in the Xbox version. There's 15 junctions to unlock on PlayStation 2. We figured let's double the size, so we've added 30 crash junctions. So the Xbox version now has 5.1 sound, it has crash junction, it has more detail, it has all this sort of stuff.
Let's not forget the pursuit races, where you play the Smokey and try to ram cars off the road. Nice.
The more dangerously you drive, the faster you should go. So that's how Burnout was born. And if you drive on the wrong side of the road, if you slide the car, or if you nearly hit other cars, you can build up a boost, you can get a turbo, you can drive even quicker. If you use all the turbo in one go, that's a Burnout. Fantastic.
Fantastic, but what's even more fantastic is the Xbox Live features in the game.
We're adding, live high score tables. So you won't be able to race online, but you'll be able to upload your biggest crashes, your best lap, your best drift, your biggest air. And something certainly in the crash mode that's very well suited to it. It's sort of the bragging rights with your friends.
And you know who has the most friends? Ha! The Sindelar.
Because this is one of the few racing games out there where you can drive from the mountains down to say the beach, or you can drive from the city into the desert and drive a long point-to-point stage. We want to make a racing game that everyone can enjoy. Everyone drives a car, everyone understands driving, but many of the titles are just far too complex.
Which is why I love living in a world where Burnout 2 can be played on the Xbox. Anybody can play this game. So there you have it. So get your motor running, head out on the highway and look for adventure and pick up Burnout 2 Point of Impact on the Xbox. If you've already played the PS2 version of Burnout 2, consider this. The Xbox and GameCube versions feature 15 more crash junctions, enhancing our blister motto of flying heavy metal is fun. Anyway, now that your palate is sufficiently stimulated, let's move on to something a little more worldly. Master of Orion 3 offers an intergalactic flavor that is sure to satisfy your thirst for interplanetary warfare. This third installment of the Master of Orion series continues the turn-based tradition of the first 2 games while offering updated visuals to this fine beverage. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a taste of Master of Orion. Orion 3 is the highly anticipated space colonization game available now for your PC, and it's all downhill from there. Master of Orion puts you in the role of an intergalactic commander out to control the universe. And what does an intergalactic despot do? He colonizes planets, creates weapons, and trains his armies. And how does he do it? Drop-down menus. But the non-stop action doesn't stop there. Excitement runs rampant as you develop skills and earn degrees in the rewarding field of economics, mathematics, and physics. Are you ready for this intensity? I don't think so. And if that's not sizzling enough, you can enter the exciting world of bureaucracy by engaging in virtual diplomacy with the locals. Whoa, hit the deck. It's an intergalactic filibuster. Get down. If you can bear any more heart-pounding excitement, then engage in some fast-paced extraterrestrial space battle. Oh no, they've unleashed the secret weapon. It's the dot matrix death kill. No! Maintain your composure as the warfare gets hot. Watch out for the planets. They may look innocent enough, but they are dangerous intergalactic forces. It's intergalactic planetary. Planetary, intergalactic. It's very beastie.
If you always wanted to play a sci-fi movie instead of watching one, it looks like Master of Orion 3 is just what you need. Okay, I need to go and check on our next batch of fine action beverages, but stick around because when we get back, we'll sample a fantastic blend of air and water with Seablade. And if your action beverage budget is limited, we'll give you a taste of Seek and Destroy and HSX Hypersonic Extreme. That's coming up only on Blister.
Join us for Achieving the Glow, a 5-part series showing you the way to enlightenment. This week, athletes find the zone.
My defense is very suspect.
It's all part of G4Tech, presented by EB Games NG, tonight at 10 p.m. Goodbye.
Welcome back to Blister. I'm Bill Sindelar. The depleted ozone, global warming, and pop music. These are all environmental hazards that the world faces today. And by the 24th century, only 300 short years from now, the polar ice caps will melt and split the world into 2 distinct hemispheres. With advances in technology, man has designed a vehicle capable of traveling both high above the clouds and far below the deepest depths of the ocean. There's a global war between the northern and southern hemispheres, and you are right in the middle of it. Think Waterworld meets Blade Runner, and you'll get the idea. I hope you like the taste of salt water because we're about to splash down on Seablade.
Freedom from above and below with Seablade Squadron. Southern Alliance in shadow of war. Volunteer now for victory. Join the Seablade Squadron.
As a lifetime video game addict, I've always dreamed of a game where the action can take place in the air and on the water. And now, like manna from heaven, dropping into my lap comes Seablade. The story of Seablade is well documented. Billy Bob Thornton plays a mentally challenged handyman who befriends a young boy. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that's Slinkblade. This is Seablade. Why don't we hear from somebody that's a bit more informed?
Seablade is a game where we set out to make like sort of an old school shooter type game, but with new 3D technology. We've got a very versatile ship that the player plays, and it can go above the ground, it can go underwater, it just goes all over the place. The storyline takes place in the not too distant future, and basically there's been like a cataclysm that's flooded the world's ocean. So a lot of the major cities are kind of underwater and stuff, and it's divided the Earth into 2 sections. There's the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere.
Well, we've got several different warlords that have taken over the northern hemisphere, and then your job as a Seablade Squadron is to take out these bad guys and their super powerful weapons.
The northern hemisphere is run by sort of tyrants, warlords who are sort of crazy, and they have like a very chaotic anarchy system of government up there. The southern hemisphere is like where everything is kind of like, you know, nice, everything's going cool, but the northern hemisphere is starting to encroach on the southern hemisphere. So we have to be proactive, go up to the northern hemisphere and take out these warlords before they can inflict a lot of damage.
And the only way to stop the evil warlords is...
Dun-dun-dun-dun, a Seablade!
You have these special ships called Seablades that are able to fly above the water and down underneath the water. So you've got all the action combat type situations that you'd have in any aircraft game as well as any submarine type game. The ships did change shape in a way that where the wings would change and move based on the direction it's flying. So it gives that a kind of a characterization to the ships, so that when you're underwater, it has a different configuration than it is when it's in the air.
There's 4 main ships, and then you can unlock all sorts of other different ships too. We've got some exclusive ships. All the enemy ships that you fight, you're able to unlock those. Just any number of ships.
It's not all flying and swimming though, friends. If it was, it wouldn't be Seablade now, would it?
We have different missions in the game. Basically, you have like sort of stealth type missions. We have to go in and do a lot of reconnaissance. And we also have missions we have to go in and pick up hostages and bring them back to your main ship. If you play the game straightforward, you can go through the missions and blow a lot of stuff up and explore. But if you really explore and get into the nuts and bolts of the game, there's all sorts of like hidden power-ups placed around, all sorts of things like that.
Weapons, weapons, weapons. What about the weapons?
We have like a good variety of weapons, from like basic like blasters to like missiles to heat-seeking missiles.
All the weapons on the ships you're able to upgrade the different weapons. So maybe you start off with 1 Gatling gun, you're able to power that up to 2 and then 3.
You've got 36 different missions spread out over 6 different environments, and yet there's a little bonus surprise at the end, if you survive.
If you play the game all the way through, you'll find there's a definite cliffhanger where it looks like as if the Seablade type gameplay will take off into space. But that's for you to play and find out yourself.
Seablade is for your Xbox and Xbox only. Now, tell me the words that I want to hear.
Join the Seablade Squadron.
Join the Seablade Squadron, indeed.
Seablade has quite an interesting pedigree. It was developed by the company that crafted Creed's Bullets video and published by the same crew that subjected the world to Panty Raider. But if I'd have told you that before we showed you Seablade, well, who knows what you would have done. Now, if you were one of the unfortunate few who actually paid money for Panty Raider, well, bummer, dude. But if your budget is still recovering from that, then we have got a couple of titles that will satisfy your gaming fix. Now, I can think of a lot of worse ways to spend $10, but I'll let you be the judge. I now present you with Seek and Destroy and HSX Hypersonic Extreme.
In these crazy economic times, it's nice to know that we can still buy some games and stay up till the wee hours of the morning driving fast and blowing stuff up. For the budget-minded gamers out there are 2 games that can satisfy these necessities of life: HSX Hypersonic Extreme and Seek and Destroy, both at the jaw-droppingly low price of $9.99. HSX borrows heavily from 2 games that set the standard for anti-gravity racing, Wipeout and F-Zero. The jet-propelled vehicles eat up the twisting and turning tracks and collect shield power-ups along the way. Unlike Wipeout though, HSX doesn't outfit the vehicles with weapons. That means you gotta drive to win. The standard cup races and time races are thrown in, and the graphics and sound are what you'd expect from a low-budget title. The environment looks good when you're going fast, but if you slow down, then the lack of depth rears its head. But the real hook of the game is the track editor. Sure, most futuristic racing games have this feature, but HSX slickly and easily lets you create some impossibly twisty and torquey tracks. Pick a location and lay down a piece of track. Repeat. In no time at all, you'll have a highway to hell and back. Combine the Army Men series with the BattleBots, and you get the cheeky action of Seek and Destroy, our next title in the budget series. Seek and Destroy is a lighthearted military combat game starring what else? Super deformed tanks. A lot of them. In fact, there's almost too many, and they range from smaller, faster tanks to larger, more heavily armored steel beasts. A story mode is stuffed into the action, featuring modes that range from all-out destroying everything games to stealth missions to boss battles. There are also a ton of mini-games for your mechanized marauders that offer up obstacle courses, mazes, and even skydiving. Skydiving? What? The big hook of Seek and Destroy is the level of customization. Cool upgrades and weapons can be found at various spots on all the maps, which adds to the challenge. And when I say upgrades, I'm talking about everything from tank treads and engines to floats for seafaring battles and wings to give your tank a lift. The weapons available are just as varied, like lasers and bombs, in addition to your standard shells. Of course, you've thought about outfitting a tank with rockets, but what about rocket-powered drills, huh? How about that giant chainsaw that attaches to the turret, huh? Does that do anything for you? I thought so. With plenty of multiplayer modes and options available, Seek and Destroy is a great grab-it-and-go game, priced just right at $9.99. Speed, explosions, and a low budget. For all those times you don't feel like immersing yourself in anything heavy, HSX Hypersonic Extreme and Seek and Destroy fit the bill nicely.
Okay, so every game can't be as good as Halo or Vice City, but you know, sometimes you just need to get your game on. You know, these two titles will help keep your skills sharp until your budget recovers. Now I've got a little motion sickness, all right, so we need to take a break. But when I come back, we'll descend on the dungeon adventures of Nightcaster 2, and we'll get reloaded with a classic online first-person shooter. That's coming up only on Blister.
Cool things going on at the G4 booth this year, but one of the coolest things is they're giving out free tattoos. Not little fake tattoos that you put on with water. The real deal. Needle and ink going in your skin. One thing is, it's got to have the G4 logo in it.
It shows dedication, that's for sure.
Just like that.
I'm a little nervous, yeah, it's first time. Oh, wow. The pain purifies.
Hardcore, dude.
My devotion to video games.
Yeah.
They were like free tattoos, and I was like, well, that sounds good. They were like G4 logo, and I was like, that sounds even better.
They gave that to me, dude.
G4 is a great station. They usually leave it on 24/7.
It was just insane the first time I saw it.
It's awesome.
I need to call my cable provider.
I watch it all the time.
I'll start watching it now.
Watch G4 TV for
gamers.
Hi, my name is Laurent Dobas, and I hold the show-off mode record for the Elysium Alps course on SSX. It took me only 9 months to achieve this score. 4 friends of mine, also in their 30s, purchased the system and the game so they could play too. When the PS2 came around, my life changed. The first SSX was a revelation for me. Awesome graphics on what video games are supposed to be all about. Once I realized the million points barrier could be broken, I had to keep trying. I had to do it. It was a hot summer afternoon and I was just out of the shower. I turned on my PS2, my VCR, and bang! I hit the million points on my first run. I was shaking like crazy and unable to play after that for a couple of hours. It was pretty insane.
Welcome back to Blister. I'm Bill Sindelar. Much like the fabled Good Thing, you can't have too much third-person dungeon crawlers, but Nightcaster 2 isn't exactly a dungeon crawler. I think it's more accurate to call it a dungeon sprinter with certain dungeon crawling elements thrown in for good measure. The action is fast and furious, and if you aren't quick on the draw with your sword, you can end up with a lap full of orc. So grab your armor and light a torch. We're about to enter the world of Nightcaster 2.
If you ever wanted to die a whiny, pathetic death set to techno background music over and over and over, then you must enter the Sindelar Zone. What? Actually, you must enter the rave realm of Nightcaster 2 Equinox. Let me see that again. In slow motion. Groovy, baby. The original Nightcaster was published by Microsoft and was one of the only RPGs available when the Xbox first hit the shelves. This time around, the sequel has been handed over to Jalico, and now the Nightcaster world is a rave for all to enjoy. And die. Look, even the goblins riding on top of the chickens are getting into the spirit of things. Equinox is like a warehouse party with more features than a multiplex. Dual analog controls allow you to groove your way into one direction while aiming your trippy glow stick in the other to take out any of the over 35 unique and unwanted enemies. And take heed, if you're a tree hugger, then you're gonna hate it when good trees go bad. While you're dancing around this raver's paradise, you can choose from over 30 spells from 4 schools of magic: fire and water, and light and dark. Trippy. The use of spellcasting is easy. Use opposing elemental spells on an enemy to diminish their love light quickly. Otherwise, you'll be forced to use your melee attacks, hard or soft if you know what I mean. However, this being a party crowd, you will gain style rewards if you combine your spell and melee attacks in a creative way. Before you go out and shake your groove thing, you'll have to decide if you want to be a boy or a girl. Orion, the hero from the first Nightcaster rave, is back along with his hottie wife Madeline. He's handy with the spells and she's dynamite with the melee, sort of. Melee attacks tend to get you dead before you know it anyways, so beware of the killer porcupines. This Nightcaster 2 realm is lush and 3D and full of dynamic lighting, specular highlighting, and bump mapping madness. But this is a rave and you can't forget your techno. Inside and out, Equinox is filled wall to wall with music that has nothing to do with the fantasy setting, but it does change dynamically with the action. As more wacky trees, insane chickens, killer pincushions, and headless turkeys attack you, the music gets louder and groovier, baby. Nightcaster 2 Equinox. Shake your ass like you've never shaken that ass before.
You just gotta love a game that gives you style points for impressive feats of skill. Now, if that was the case in real life, I'd be a modern-day Fonzie. Exactamundo. Anyway, it's time to jump into the Wayback Machine once again for another dose of Blister Reloaded. But we're taking a short trip, so don't get too comfortable. Back in 2001, Sierra gave us the follow-up to the seminal first-person shooter, Star Siege Tribes. Everything about Tribes 2 was an improvement over the original. In fact, the only thing that stayed the same was the online-only gameplay that helped set Star Siege apart from the 63,714 shooters on the market. So get in, hold on, and shut up, because we are getting reloaded.
Reinforce the offense! Our flag is secure!
Phoenix, Starwolf, Diamond Sword, Blood Eagle, Cindelar. They're all tribes of warriors enmeshed in the never-ending struggle for unification, domination, annihilation, and decalcification. Released for the PC back in 2000, Tribes 2 was the controversial sequel to the cult hit Star Siege Tribes. The game, which was shipped unfinished, made for a lot of unhappy gamers before patches were finally made available. For those who were able to run the game properly, however, Tribes 2 offered an evolutionary step in the right direction for the multiplayer first-person shooter. Gamers could jump online and join matches with other tribes of up to 64 players in Deathmatch, Siege, Rabbit, and the ever-popular Capture the Flag. Like the original game, each player in Tribes 2 had their own personal jetpack, so tribe members could zip around the enormous blade fields to either capture the enemy flag or defend it. The amount of options and roles available to players was staggering. You could set up defenses to guard your flag, disrupt enemy equipment such as generators and turrets, capture the opposing team's flag, and a plethora of other additional duties. Loadouts such as grenade packs and deployable equipment, and of course, a diversity of land and air vehicles added to the strategy and epic nature of Tribes 2. Although the game might have a steep learning curve for new bloods, the rewards of playing with a strong team are priceless. Join a tribe, grab a spin fuser, and cap a few flags.
If you're wondering whatever happened to the Tribes series, well, you'll soon find out when Tribes 3 comes out next year. Now I want to know what other games you're looking forward to in the coming year, so log on to our message boards at G4TV.com/Blister and let me know. That's all the time we've got for this edition of Blister. I'm Bill Sindelar. We'll see you next time. Get on out of here. Bye, everybody. Come on. I said go. Get out of my house. Don't make me. If I have to jump over this. And if your action budget well then, go tell your mom and dad they need to get you some games, or maybe you should get a job, and then maybe move out of that house and get a girlfriend or something. That's coming up only on Blister. Was that smile forced? Get these 2 titles and... What? I need glasses. I can't see.
The Cindelar Zone.
fly score revenge? Why did the chicken cross the road? And what kind of adventure lays an egg? It's time to dial up the old school love as we get ready to break down the best classic console games of all time right here, right now on Filter. Hello, I'm Diane Mizoda, and welcome to Filter. A hand-picked top 10 video game countdown is voted on by you, the viewer, at G4TV.com. Everybody remembers their first time, and whether it was an Atari 2600, Intellivision, or any one of a number of old-school home consoles, the day you finally got your hands on one is the day that your life would change forever. And although the classic games that dominated your early days of play are now nothing more than sweet pieces of nostalgia tucked away in the happy cracks of your brain, their importance will never be forgotten. That's why today we're here at the Classic Gaming Expo in Las Vegas, so that we can pay respect to the games that got us started. But before we get started on the countdown, let's hear a few people reminisce about the good old games.
I'd say some of the major games that helped gaming move from arcades to the home were the Miyamoto creations like Donkey Kong and Mario Brothers.
You could say that coin-op conversions were the thing that helped games move from the arcade to the home. But there were some games that stood out, I think, games that were not really coin-op conversions, but games that stood on their own and distinguished the 2600.
Went to Atari with the idea of building a device to connect to your home TV that would let you play the arcade games in the home. And that first game was Pong.
My first console game was an Atari 2600.
Like a lot of people my age, it would have been a Christmas present. Got an Atari 2600 for Christmas.
I was at home on Christmas Day playing Air Sea Battle. That was the game that came with the original Sears telegames. We didn't get combat. All my other friends had combat.
What you describe as an old school game was really the state of the art and technology at the time that it existed. You had to concentrate on gameplay. The game had to be fun or you weren't going to try to sell it.
Okay, before we begin, let me eliminate all confusion by pointing out that today's countdown is limited to games that got their start in the home market. That's why you won't see any games like Pac-Man or Dig Dug. You will, however, see games like Mega Mania. Matter of fact, you'll see that one right now because the Space Invaders style shooter starts our countdown at number 10.
Mega Mania, good game from Activision. It was real manic, sort of a Space Invaders kind of game, but things went from left to right and everything up and down and stuff like that.
What really made the game unique was that the objects on screen were common items that you may encounter in your daily existence. So we're talking like flying bow ties, flying tires, unusual funny objects. Space Nightmare, it's basically a shooter. It's kind of a Space Invaders Galaxian-inspired type of deal.
A lot like Galaxian, except cooler. Good graphics, better than it was average on the Atari 2600 at the time.
While the tires in Mega Mania were out to get you, the tires in our next game were out to get you there ahead of the pack. In Enduro, you were a race car driver in the National Enduro, a long-distance road race, and you had to pass a certain amount of cars each day on your way to capturing the checkered flag. Sure, games like Turbo and Pole Position were more fun, but you couldn't play those at home, could you? Enduro grabs the 9th spot.
Enduro, good racing game, smoother graphics and scrolling and everything than the other driving games for the 2600. And of course, traditional Activision style was high quality, good gameplay.
The designer was a nuclear physicist, I believe, and he designed 2 games, and we've never heard from him since.
You were racing at night, you were racing on the ice, you were racing in the rain. That part made it interesting, and it was always challenging. Great way to waste large amounts of time on a good driving game.
When Enduro was first released in 1983, Activision offered a membership to the Roadbusters Club and a free patch to anyone who could survive for 5 or more days. But if you were a real hero back then, you didn't need no freaking patch. All you needed was a copy of our next game and a buttload of free time. Take a look at rescuer extraordinaire Roderick H.E.R.O in the game at number 8, H.E.R.O.
The most interesting thing in H.E.R.O has to be that it was actually a vertical maze. So to do that, of course, the character had to be equipped with a helicopter backpack to be able to go up and down.
Best Atari 2600 game ever. Best ever. It's a phenomenal game. Tons of things to explore. Very challenging. Way ahead of its time. Really, really advanced game that stands up today against whatever you can put out, on Xbox, Dreamcast, anything.
A little FYI, H.E.R.O actually stands for Helicopter Emergency Rescue Operation. A little more FYI for you, I still have my old home console, an Atari 2600. What about you? When we come back from the break, we'll find out what happened to your gateways to gaming. Plus, we'll keep counting down till we crown the classic king. Can a road-crossing chicken muster up the courage to grab a victory, or will he get caught in the crosshairs of combat? Find out when Filter returns. Welcome back to Filter. I'm Diane Mizota here at the Classic Gaming Expo, counting down the best classic console games of all time. The rankings for Filter shows come directly from the responses you post on the G4 website. To make your vote count, log on to G4TV.com/filter and select the filterator. Then choose a category, vote on a scale of 1 to 10, and we'll take care of the rest. While you're there, be sure to post your suggestions for topics and games you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Let's get back to our 10-to-1 adventure with the game at number 7, Adventure. The Atari Classic lands on the countdown for 2 simple reasons. It's the first RPG-ish game ever, and it also had the first Easter egg ever. But here are a few more reasons, just to keep it real.
Adventure was a game that launched a genre, and that's what made it so significant. It was very simple. It was a 2K game.
And at Atari, Warren Robinette looked at the 2600 and said, I think I can make this, an adventure-like game on the 2600. He tried to put a dragon in the game.
The dragon kind of looks like a duck.
And with the limited graphics, the dragon ended up looking kind of like a duck.
It's all about the dot, about the sword, and about spearing the duck. What else is there to do?
Talk about defining the 2600 in its own right, creating a new genre and doing it adventure. Super significant game, I think. Good choice.
You looking for a real adventure? Try being a chicken and making your way across 10 lanes of screaming vehicular mayhem without getting turned into a poultry pancake. If you play the game at number 6, you know exactly how hard and how much fun that could be. Here's Freeway.
Freeway, avoiding the cars with a chicken, which I think was inspired with David Crane going to Lakeshore Drive in Chicago.
I looked at that and I said, well, there's an idea for a video game. Guy trying to get across 10 lanes of traffic. We had a little bit of a problem. What happens when a man gets struck by a car? Jim Levy, president of Activision at the time, he said, hey, I got an idea, turn it into a chicken, and we'll tell the story of the chicken crossing the road. In the last 24 hours of the development process, I turned the man into a little yellow chicken.
Freeway made its way onto many Atari consoles back in the day, but where are Ataris now? We asked a few people what happened to their old video game systems, and here's what they told us.
Well, I have no idea. The first 20, the Atari 2600 I have now is probably at the bottom of a landfill somewhere.
I could not tell you because I sold it at a garage sale. It's probably at the dump.
Might be in a landfill.
Unfortunately, I don't have my first console ever. It's before eBay was around, so I'm guessing someone picked it up in Pennsylvania someplace and is using it as toilet paper.
My first console, like the Atari 2600 game console, I actually have that on a shelf in my office, along with every game I ever did in shrink wrap form.
My first console, the Atari 2600, is sitting on my living room shelf.
My first console is on a shelf in my office.
Well, my first console, now that went in a garage sale sometime during the Reagan administration.
I have the first Atari 2600 that came off the assembly line. And they're in my game room.
I still have the first console, and I probably have about 25 other consoles to add with that first console. So it's collecting dust, right? No, I use my console.
Okay, I may still have my Atari, but unfortunately, I have no idea what happened to the crazy cool paddles that came with the game at number 5. Back in the day, Kaboom was the ultimate reflex game. You had a trio of water buckets, and you had to slide them from left to right in order to catch a battery of bombs released by who else? The Mad Bomber. That was no small task, but in the end, it was still definitely the bomb.
Kaboom! Oh, talk about a real manic game. That's you know, you got the little bomber dropping bombs down on you. Got to catch them in your water bucket.
Really fun game. Fundamental, basic, simple mechanic that just gets more and more intense.
And you know, after the 9th level or so, the pace gets very, very, very frenetic.
It's a game where people often describe that they go into the zone, and if you don't find the zone, you can't win the game.
Kaboom makes your eyes water. You definitely have to focus in on your buckets. I would suggest staring in the center of the screen and doing a delay reaction as to how the bombs are dropped. Because if you don't follow this, you will die quickly.
More than just the game at number 5, Kaboom was also a sound heard early and often in the very first Atari 2600 game ever made. And to own a 2600 was to own that very game because combat came packaged with each and every Atari sold. When it came to starter kits, there simply was nothing that could touch this 2-player game of one-on-one combat with tanks, planes, and jet fighters. The original fighter blows up the 4-spot.
Probably one of my first experiences playing a video game at home was Combat Tanks on the Atari. And the only reason I remember that is because I used to love G.I. Joes, and the fact that I actually got to shoot things out of the tanks was a big thing for me.
It's a wonderful way for two people to go head-to-head. It's a dueling battle. It's planes against planes, tanks against tanks. 2 people enter, 1 person exits.
One of the neat little tricks I used to do back in the old days was to secretly switch the difficulty switch on them, you know, and make it more difficult to make their tank or plane move slower and see how long it took them to notice.
There's no way we could overlook combat for the countdown, but there were a few other worthy titles that just missed the top 10. We'll take a look at some of those when we come back, plus we'll keep counting them down till we get to number 1. Will the river raid the top spot, or will a pitfall swallow it up? Stick around and find out when Filter returns. Back to Filter. I'm Diane Mizoda, and we're back at the Classic Gaming Expo in Las Vegas, where we're counting down the best classic console games of all time. With 7 down and 3 up, let's catch up before we wrap up with a quick recap. Mega Mania slides into the 10th spot. Enduro crosses the finish line in 9th place. Your H.E.R.O finishes in 8th. Adventure unlocks a 7th place finish. The Chicken crossed the road so that Freeway could grab the 6th spot. Kabooyah! Kaboom is the bomb at number 5. And it may have been a freebie, but combat has more than enough fight to wind up in 4th. Speaking of fights, here's one that takes place above ground. River Raid put you in the pilot seat of a B-1 Stratowing assault jet and sent you into the heat of combat over the hazardous river of no return. Perhaps it wasn't the most original game in the world, but it was a hell of a good time. Plus, it was developed by a woman, so hell yeah. The Atari air shooter comes in 3rd.
River Raid is the granddaddy of all like shooter games.
River Raid is your raid you're pulling all the way down the river, where you're climbing up this snaking river and you are facing, flak and various challenges. Things are jumping up to get you and you've got to be shooting or bombing things as you're moving along.
With the possibility of running out of fuel. So you have to run the fuel tanks over to gain your fuel to continue.
Pretty basic concept, but there was just enough variety in it to keep it interesting.
It was kind of a simple game, blowing up bridges with your plane.
River Raid notched itself a spot in the countdown, but the games you're about to see weren't as lucky. Here's a look at a few titles that got filtered out.
Flag capture. You have a field of squares, one of which has a flag. Okay? The goal is to be the first one to get to the flag. But this was something where you're competing with another person, but the goal is not just to get them, the goal is to use your environment and read the signals and do all that. There was more to it.
I would add Frostbite to that list. Frostbite is another game that kept you on your toes, where you jumped across floating icebergs, avoiding crabs and collecting fish to gain your points. Your object was to build an igloo and then hide in the igloo from the attacking bear.
Now that we've paid our respects to a few veterans that got overlooked, let's pay some props to the best-looking vet on the block. Your 2 favorite classic console games are H.E.R.O's Revenge and Pitfall, and that's no surprise. H.E.R.O's Revenge was a super original shooter which had Atari fans jamming that little red fire button for days on end, while Pitfall kept you going and going until you finally reached the end. It's considered to be the first real platforming game ever. But only one of these games can be best classic console game ever. And you know what that means? It's time to sit down and strap in. A shooter takes on Swinger in another filter face-off.
H.E.R.O's Revenge was a space action game with a whole science fiction story upon which it was predicated that I heard the programmer wrote himself, actually.
I would probably pick H.E.R.O's Revenge because I'm really into shooting games, and H.E.R.O's Revenge has got a lot more action than Pitfall does.
I would go with H.E.R.O's Revenge because Pitfall has a definite ending, and if you're really good, you can play H.E.R.O's Revenge forever. I mean, if that's your thing.
Oh man, I've got to go with Pitfall on that one. Slightly better crafted, more innovative graphics at the time, a lot more things on the screen. It wasn't just black and a few things on the screen you're shooting at.
For me personally, I like Pitfall. I like the role-playing games better than the action shooters, so I'd choose Pitfall.
I would say it was a pretty good adventure game. You have to gather 32 treasures and to accumulate 114,000 points in a 20-minute time frame.
I would pick Pitfall in a face-off because Pitfall Harry is just this really cool, enduring console character. Very simple guy. The whole sound effect of people swinging where you go la, la, la. La, la, la.
It took about 10 minutes to design the game of Pitfall on a piece of paper. It then took 1,000 hours sitting at a computer to bring it to life.
The polls are closed, your votes are counted, and your choice for the best classic console game of all time is Pitfall! had on the top spot. Well, that wraps up this episode of Filter. Remember, the opinions expressed on this show are yours, not mine. So make your vote count on
Two teams square off on the quest for digital domination. Its destination, vacation, here on Arena! Welcome everyone to Arena, the show that turns multiplayer games into competitive sport. I'm Lee Rehrman, and today we start on the road to the land of palm trees, drink umbrellas, and too much sunscreen. Every team that competes on Arena this season has one goal in mind: a free, all expenses paid vacation.
Team Kaizen has been waiting since the end of last season for its chance to enter the Hall of Champions, but a new challenger in the form of Team Nim stands in their way.
Let's get things rolling and check in with Kevin, who's in the console pit. Kevin.
All right, thanks, Lee. Now, today we're kicking things off with Soul Calibur 2 on the Nintendo GameCube.
Now, as the name implies, this is the second game in the fighting series that introduced a new generation of gamers to the genre. Featuring amazing graphics and addictive gameplay, Soul Calibur 2 is the reigning champion of fighting games.
Players will fight one round each, and the overall winner will be the team that scores the most knockouts. And that's enough base time for me. Let's check out the action.
And Soul Calibur 2 is underway. Team Kaizen will be fighting as Nightmare with Team Nim as Talim, Kevin. There she is, Talim brandishing her weapons, and Nightmare brandishing, looks like a Buick. Not the size of the weapon, it's the motion in the ocean as Nightmare really takes it to Talim.
Keep telling yourself that, Lee. And Talim gets in close, lands a blow on Nightmare. Nightmare spins around.
Ooh.
Lands a punishing blow on Talim. Talim's health deteriorating quickly here in round one.
And Nightmare having early seemed a little clunky.
And with a poke to the ribs, Nightmare sends Talim down.
2. And coming up on round 2 for Soul Calibur 2 for Team Kaizen, it is Mac. For Team Nim, it is Mastermind. And round 2's underway.
And Nightmare off to a quick start, pummeling Talim, not even letting her get up off the ground. Oh, yeah. Very quiet match in the library today.
And here comes Talim fighting back.
Yeah, this round was all Nightmare, though.
Oh, yeah. That's ownage.
As he knocks her down with a quick shoulder shrug and takes round 2.
3. The console round is so far all Kaizen. We had slap shots versus ringworm.
You right there, Lee?
Almost.
Now, I know Nim went with Talim hoping to get at least one quick round. That way they could secure the MVP in the event of a tie, but if they don't win this one...
And as if on cue, however, Kevin, you see slap shots, laying it on the bigger Nightmare.
Slap shoes.
Slap shoes yourself.
4.
At round 4, Nightmare, 2-1 over Talim. This is the chance for Talim to even it up, Kevin.
Absolutely, and in round 3, we saw Team Nim with a quick victory. That could help them with the MVP points if they manage to secure this round. But Nightmare's doing everything in his power, pummeling Talim, and he takes her down. And that'll do it for round 4, Lee.
Kaizen takes the console round.
All right, well, it looks like Team Nim was going for the fastest round knockout, but unfortunately, they couldn't get the tie that they wanted. And as such, Team Kaizen takes the console round and 1 point. And in fact, Stacy Barcelona is with their best player right now, so let's hear what he has to say. Stacy?
Thank you, Kevin. I am here with Eska. Congratulations. Welcome back. How you feeling?
Feeling very good. We did pretty good at that game, and we're going to take them out, I think.
Well, how'd you do so good? You got a 20-second KO in Soul Calibur 2.
20-second KO? I don't know. I just handed him down a little ponage.
Combo meal.
Combo meal. Facial, huh? Facial.
Sounds good. Well, you are taking the early lead toward the MVP race and the 3 points to go with it. But right now, we are going to meet the rest of your team and their opponents, Team Nim.
We've played 3 episodes as Kaizen, and now we sort of thinking about changing our name to formally known as Kaizen.
We're going to be A = D is our new team name. team formerly known as in Kaizen. We're going to a more of a symbol.
Yeah, the name couldn't capture our actual team spirit.
Couldn't capture our awesomeness.
We played a lot of video games together. We played probably 3 or 4 months worth completely together.
Including yesterday, which was like 48 hours straight.
Yeah.
We ruled Call of Duty.
Played a lot of Call of Duty. A whole lot of Call of Duty.
Yeah, too much Call of Duty. I do not think that Team Nim is as good as other teams we played, like Minority. It's still probably the toughest people that we played.
Minority for sure.
They were real good.
They seem like cool guys, but I just don't think they can beat us at video games.
I'm not supposed to say they look like cool guys. They suck! But we're gonna beat them. That is what it comes down to, though, right?
I got the team name Nim from an idea I had since I have a few hot mom friends, my buddies' moms and stuff.
It's like that Stacy's mom song.
No, don't compare us to that. How dare you?
I've known David since we were like 7, and you know, Stan's his brother, so.
I like called up a bunch of people. I'm like, hey, you want to kill people and be on TV? And they're like, yeah, sure, we'll kill people and be on TV. So
You should get together, play DDR.
David, like, as awkward as it sounds, this guy's amazing. Like,
David's the DDR master.
yeah, he's just out there sweating and going, bah, 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 you know, getting out all those moves.
Alex is called wild card for a reason. One game he'd have like 80 kills and no deaths. One game he'll have like 1 kill and like 50 deaths. So you never know what's up. I'm here to talk trash and shoot people.
Figured come out here for the day or whatever and play games, have a possibility of winning some prizes and hang out with my buddies and just have a great time.
Team Kaizen is off to a fast start in what they hope will be a road to a 4th consecutive win after dominating Soul Calibur 2. We'll see who snags the 2 points in Call of Duty coming up next on Arena.
Rated E for everyone. At Rainbow Studios, we wanted even the most dangerous stuff to look realistic. So we brought in our intern, Toby.
Are you ready? Go! Go!
Thanks to him, you can do things in this game you've never done before, like go head-to-head with a monster truck, outrun a biplane, or jump a helicopter. You're the man, Toby. You're the man. MX Unleashed.
Welcome back, everyone, to Arena. Now, before the break in the console round, Kaizen turned out to be Nim's worst nightmare, winning 3 of 4 rounds, which means Kaizen is 1 step closer to winning that all-expenses-paid trip at the end of this season. But hey, they got a long way to go. But not so far away from me is Kevin, who's right behind me. He'll set the stage for our next game. Kevin.
Thanks, Lee. Yes, the game is Call of Duty, and it's a squad-based first-person shooter that drops players into the European trenches of World War II. Now, the game mode is Headquarters, where the objective is to capture and defend a randomly placed radio. The map today is Rocket. Now, Rocket has an extensive underground bunker system which provides the opportunity for some close-range combat, while on the surface, the open environment offers ideal conditions for snipers. So let's see who will claim the 2 points for this round.
1. Call of Duty is underway. Kaizen, posing as those pesky Germans in the Axis, doing a little Sprechen Sie Deutsch, with Nim as those wonderful allies. Kevin, trying to capture the radio.
Team Nim off to a quick start.
Each 45 seconds yields 45 points. Once the enemy has it, if you destroy it, you get 25.
Hey, we gotta take it before 45's out.
Member of Kaizen chucking some grenades as he goes prone behind a buddy and takes some fire. And now he's on the move. Weapon selection is key here, Lee. You can either plan for the close quarter combat with a little automatic rifle. You can go with the sniper rifle for the outdoor long-range firing.
2 down, 2 more to go.
Mac for Kaizen, very nimble here on the landscape.
Got one.
Kaizen just picking off enemies. Woobs fighting his way out of that bunker.
Quick firefight, takes down a member of the opposing force, but gets taken out himself.
While Ringworm again seems the aggressor here for Team Kaizen. Here in Call of Duty, it's a 30-second respawn process. Kind of like being in purgatory.
And it looks like Team Nim is securing the radio at this point. And as we all learned in history class, Lee, control of the radio is what turns the tide of war.
Hey, we don't need two you guys in there.
Mastermind prone in the bunker, taking some fire, and he gets taken out.
All right, I'm right behind you, Al.
Kaizen on the verge of turning the tables here.
And it looks like Kaizen has successfully destroyed the radio, and now both teams are frantically making their way to the next random spawn.
It's underground.
Notice the communication by Team Kaizen letting each other know where the radio is and where certain enemies are at all times.
Time winding down here in round 1.
I'm in there. Capturing.
Ringworm for Team Kaizen is trying to grab control of that radio. He's got a teammate there to cover his back.
First half of this round was spent outside, the second half inside.
Tony Montana chucking some grenades around a corner trying to clear a room.
Say hello to my little friend.
And Montana gets taken down, unable to destroy the radio. All Kaizen here in round 1 of Call of Duty.
2. And round 2 underway, Kevin. Kaizen having taken round 1. No history here, so they just took it because they were better, I guess.
Well, they had clear control of the radio the entire round.
I think it's underneath. It's underneath, yeah?
Both teams on the move right away.
Tony Montana and Wildcard aggressively moving through the landscape. You can tell these guys know they have to be the aggressor now.
And they've got to watch out for the team killing, Lee. Unfortunately, NIM took out a couple of their own members last round.
Tony Montana going in and out of these bunkers in search of that radio. And down he goes, does Tony Montana. And Eska for Kaizen down in a bunker.
Eska peeking around the corner with his whole body, not taking advantage of the lean feature in Call of Duty. And Woobs for Kaizen crouched atop the hill. Notice they leave him outside of the base so he's able to see which way the enemies are entering, Lee. Excellent strategy.
Hold outside, hold that door. Don't let him go through that door.
Mac for Team Kaizen, prone atop the ladder, controlling the radio for the entire round. Woobs drops down behind a rock for some cover and takes out a member of Team NIM.
Someone's gonna have to take that from the top.
Kaizen's in control of the radio right now, and a member of Team NIM trying to change that. He makes his way up the ladder, but runs into a prone member of Team Kaizen and gets taken out. When your character climbs that ladder, Lee, he puts his weapon in the holster, so unfortunately he's unable to fire until he makes it all the way up, and a member of Team Kaizen took advantage of that. And for the second time, using that same strategy, prone in front of the ladder, member of Team Kaizen is able to defend the radio by taking out an enemy.
Hey, we already won now. So do whatever you want.
A little smack talking by Team Kaizen.
Or stating the obvious, one of the two. And Team NIM finally regrouping around that hole, trying to make one final push towards the radio.
Back for Team Kaizen has spent most of his time right there just laying on the floor.
Well, a single grenade through the window would be enough to take him out, but unfortunately I don't have a keyboard and mouse in front of me.
I think the radio might blow.
Kaizen was in control of the radio so long, Lee, that the radio decided to self-destruct. It got that bored.
Call of Duty round 2 goes to Team Kaizen. 3.
Hey, game's on.
Round 3 underway here in Call of Duty. I just overheard Team Kaizen calling this a victory lap.
And there's something to be said about a round so boringly that the radio decides to take its own life.
Radio's place.
Team NIM is looking for MVP points and total kills. Tony Montana moving around those bunkers in search of that radio.
Eska for Kaizen went prone behind a tree, but unfortunately was not enough cover for him. And Tony Montana unloading on a member of Team Kaizen. Tony Montana takes down Woobs. Woobs, he did it again. I'm just kidding, Lee. You working out? Well, it looks like NIM has clearly stepped it up. They've eliminated several members of Team Kaizen early on here. And I believe Team NIM is actually in control of the radio, Lee.
Team NIM hoping to rack up some of those MVP points as well as total kills.
No more trash talking from them, guys.
Hey, we're down 135 to 37. We need this radio.
It's all Team Kaizen here, making a push towards that radio. And Ringworm for Kaizen, prone yet again inside of a bunker, waiting for an enemy to peek his head around the corner. The radio spawns right in front of Ringworm, and he's securing it now. Let's see if NIM is able to take him out. Tony Montana opening fire, but decides to take a little nap in the snow. He gets taken out.
He's outside. He threw a grenade.
And if I'm not mistaken, Ringworm just got blown to
Oh, you're not mistaken, Mike. Eska for Kaizen takes out a member of Team NIM who was at that stationary turret. Two members of Team Kaizen crouched behind those boxes for cover as Tony Montana tries to flush him out, gets taken down around a corner. It looks like a member of Team Kaizen is at the radio. They're trying to secure it now as fire breaks out.
There it is. There's the radio.
And Eska for Kaizen gets mowed down. And NIM is at the radio now, crouched in a firefight, muzzle to muzzle.
No one's left. No one's left. Get the radio.
NIM goes down. It looks like Ringworm for Kaizen is the last person left in the round. He's there to secure it.
Bodies are everywhere. NIM had to get it going here in Call of Duty round 3.
Yeah, Kaiser lost. Finally.
And NIM takes round 3, Kevin.
All right, well, it wasn't the most exciting strategy of all, but Mac for Team Kaizen proved that a little patience goes a long way. His defensive prowess gave his team 2 points in our PC round, and now he's standing with Stacy Barcelata for his 5 seconds of fame.
Thanks, Kevin. Congratulations, Mac. Let's talk about your Call of Duty defensive strategy.
Well, really camped them out that map. Let the little jabronis come up, take off their heads. Real good fun. 2 down, 2 down.
You did a great job. How do you think the next round's going to go against Team Nim?
Oh, we've been cessing SOCOM 2 real hard. No chance.
Wow, no chance. Big words, maybe, but it ain't bragging if you back it up. Lee, isn't that what you always say, or is it Kid Rock?
Not Kid Rock, it's Kid Hawk. So while our teams prepare for battle in SOCOM 2, you can check out our website at G4TV.com/arena, where you can read player profiles and sign up your team to get on the show. Our final showdown in SOCOM 2 is coming up after this on Arena.
True crime, streets of LA. Rated M for mature.
My name is Sergeant James Master Domenico, and this is Camp Butter, Florida.
All right, Rangers, listen up. I'm going to give you the general concept for tonight's operation.
Tonight is my last mission at Ranger School. The last 90 days have been the hardest, most brutal days of my entire life. The crazy thing is, I actually chose to do this. And there's no guarantee that I'll even pass.
Welcome to Ranger School. See if James makes the grade. Only at GoArmy.com.
Learn to drive, dude.
Welcome back, everyone, to Arena. Now, before the break, Kaizen rewrote history and led the Germans to victory in Call of Duty. So it looks like Team Nim needs a near-perfect round of SOCOM 2 and needs that cumulative score bonus to have a chance at the match. Let's go to Kevin to set it up.
Thank you, Lee. Yes, our third and final game is SOCOM 2 U.S. Navy SEALs, and a coin flip before the show determined that Team NIM will be the SEALs and Team Kaizen will be the opposing force. Now, the mode for today's game is Extraction, where the SEALs must infiltrate their opponent's stronghold to rescue a group of hostages. Today's map is Fishhook, which is set in a seaside village that, like Lee, has seen better days. What? Now, this setting has plenty of opportunities for close quarters combat, but it's also a sniper's paradise. So let's see which approach our two teams take as they square off in SOCOM 2 U.S. Navy SEALs.
In SOCOM 2, U.S. Navy SEALs is underway. Kevin Kaizen won the toss and elected to be the bad guys.
I love SOCOM.
SOCOM's cool.
SOCOM is the fun.
And NIM are the U.S. Navy SEAls. Team NIM, their objective is to find the hostages, get them to safety. Team Kaizen, their objective is to keep the hostages.
And Woobs is there.
Don't shoot each other, guys.
Oh, I got shot in the face.
And Tony Montana gets fragged by a member of Team NIM.
They killed themselves.
They did?
Mac for Team Kaizen, standing back, moving the hostages to an alternate location, trying to make things difficult for Team NIM.
Busby, you got downstairs? Good?
Yeah, you got all the hostages?
Yep.
And it looks like Ringworm for Team Kaizen, laying down a couple mines, hoping that a member of Team NIM runs unsuspectingly into a room. Eska for Team Kaizen, now in charge of babysitting those hostages.
The defense here is much easier than the offense.
Absolutely, Lee. Team Kaizen has the advantage on this round. They can move the hostages to wherever they would like and then strategically plant themselves and wait for Team NIM to show up.
Ralph, they're coming your way.
Oh, really?
Ringworm for Team Kaizen, leaning out around that corner, checking for enemies. Slap Shoes for Team NIM, making his way off the beach.
I think you should get farther away.
Once he gets out in the open there, he's a sitting duck, his Slap Shoes. Again, an example of why it's more difficult to be a U.S. Navy SEAL in SOCOM 2.
Team NIM having trouble locating the hostages.
Very aggressive, his Slap Shoes. Again, NIM way behind on points here. And down goes Slap Shoes.
Out. Out.
Nice.
Mac for Team Kaizen took down Slap Shoes. And it looks like only one member remains for Team NIM. Will he be able to get to those hostages, Lee?
Well, again, it's becoming all academic for Kaizen, being dominant here in SOCOM 2 U.S. Navy SEALs.
Max up on the rooftop.
Oh, wait, I got hit once.
Fire rings out, he goes prone to avoid it.
He's on this roof.
A little bit of communication from Team Kaizen, trying to get a bead on the enemy, let each other know exactly where he is.
Kaizen now playing the waiting game.
Wild card for Team Nim. Leaning out around the corner, he spots a member of the opposing force, and now he's just waiting for him to sneak back out, but...
Hey, why don't you come out? It's already over.
Homeboy talks a lot of noise.
Which corner?
Taking his time, and now some fires exchanged between Wildcard, and he gets taken out. It looks like Team Nim will be unable to take round 1 of SOCOM, Lee. Oh, and of course a little showboating, a little victory dance there.
Oh, a little moonwalk, why not?
2.
Round 2 underway? Or am I imagining things? Nim all but beaten and battered here, and SOCOM 2 U.S. Navy SEALs has proven to be no different for them, Kevin.
Slap shoes for Nim, wasting no time. Coming in off the beach. Makes his way across the street, unscathed up until this point.
Busby, where are you?
Don't go downstairs because I have the door set.
The hostages have reset back to their initial starting point. Let's see if Nim is able to locate him this round.
Prior to this game, Kevin, we had talked about Nim needing a very dominant SOCOM 2. Slap shoes just starts blowing up stuff. He's ticked off.
And Eska just took out Mastermind, Lee.
They put a mine on the ground. I can't see mines. It's bull.
And fire breaks out, Slap shoes in a firefight. And he takes out a member of Team Kaizen.
I'm down.
No, you can go down the ladder.
By the hallway.
Looks like Woobs for Kaizen gets taken out.
You're gonna need a lot more than that, Kevin.
Tony Montana actively searching for those hostages. Eska for Kaizen up top.
You got both of them set?
I'm doing it right now.
Once again, Nim, the U.S. Navy SEAL team.
And Mac for Kaizen with an excellent shot takes down Slap shoes. Excellent shooting by Mac as Mac from up top unloads, and it looks like all of the Navy SEAls have been eliminated, Lee.
Oh, boo!
Yeah.
Like shooting ducks in a barrel.
3.
And it's all over but the fat lady singing.
She's singing about round 3, Lee.
Rounds 1 and 2 all Kaizen. And Nim, only an unbelievable miracle here in the 3rd round of SOCOM 2 U.S. Navy SEALs will salvage any face here for them.
Mastermind and Slap shoes heading out together as wild card for Nim makes his way, and he's already in a firefight with a member of the opposing force. It's a little circle strafing in the street, and wild card goes down. Team Nim is now 3 strong yet again.
Wildcard went down fast. Tony Montana.
Getting a little choked up. I know it's
getting a little
sad
choked
to see the
up.
SEALs get taken out this way, but
Tony Montana hoping not to see a similar fate in a firefight with Mac. And down goes Tony Montana.
And it looks like Mac for Kaizen took down Tony Montana, but now he's pausing to reload and takes down yet another member of Team Nim. Mac is on a killing spree.
That was Mastermind for Nim that went down.
From behind.
Man. And the round is over, Lee.
That's rough.
Freaking spree right there. That's dance time, USA.
And Mac for Kaizen.
Oh.
Doing his best beat it.
SOCOM 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Nim is destroyed. And SOCOM 2 is all Team Kaizen.
Well, SOCOM 2 proved that you have to work as a team to survive here in Arena, and Mac proved to be a Mac truck as he plowed through Team Nim, leading Kaizen to victory. With an excellent performance in Call of Duty and SOCOM 2, there's no doubt who today's MVP is. Let's go to Stacy with our winning team and our MVP.
Team Kaizen, Mac, get on up here. You are the MVP today. You did great in 2 games. How you feeling?
It's complete ownage. They couldn't do anything. Only one of them left. Only one of them left.
You guys did own them. Now, next time you're going for Win 5 and the Hall of Champions. How are you going to make sure that happens?
We're unstoppable. We don't have to do anything. Oh, backflip.
Unstoppable. Congratulations, Team Kaizen. Lee, take it away.
Ownage and unstoppable. I like these guys. Now, it's a new season, but an over result as Kaizen returns and successfully defends his title against an overmatched and an overwhelmed team with a clean sweep. And now they're only one big win away from being the first team in Season 3 to qualify for the Hall of Champions and the chance at winning that all-expenses-paid week of fun in the sun, courtesy of Arena. We'll see if Kaizen has the stuff of champions on the next episode of Arena.
This week on Sweat, Rossi heads to Houston to game with the NFL's best at the Madden Bowl.
What you doing on the ground, man? Come on.
Hang out at the hottest parties.
And it's live, man.
And talk NFL fever with League MVP Peyton Manning.
People are going to start beating me now when I play them.
That's why you come to Madmo, and that's what it's all about. Get in on the action with a special pigskin party edition of Sweat, Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Presented by Jeep. If it's not trail rated, it's not a Jeep 4x4.
Hey, my name is Jada Pinkett Smith, and you're watching G4.
You did not say Blood Gulch, you said Arctic Canyon. Championship in the Arctic Canyon is what you said. Well, here we are in the Arctic Canyon, and I don't see any championship. Where's the map? Give me the map. Oh, that's just great.
10,000 participants, 1 champion. Arena presents the Halo National Championship. The battle begins Friday, September 20th at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific.
Today on X-Play, getting unlucky with 13. Don't like my outfit? Why not rip it off in WWE Smackdown? And this man sets the record straight in Armed and Dangerous.
I'm a mole, you smelly kids.
Well, there's no need for name calling. It's game time. Please welcome your hosts, the lovely and vivacious Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
I'm lovely and
Yes, you are. Welcome to X-Play. We have a great show for you, including a review of the beautiful cel-shaded shooter 13.
And before you rush out and buy it, you're gonna want to hear what we have to say about it.
Now, on top of that, we review the new WWE Smackdown.
And there's a game from LucasArts that actually pokes fun at Star Wars.
Yes, and we have an interview with Batman himself, Adam West.
We have the same name. And if you can't get enough of the war in Iraq from the nightly news, we have a squad-based shooter that you and your administration are gonna love.
But we begin with a game some people have been very excited about, 13.
I am guilty as charged on that excitement thing.
Yeah, well, still, it comes to us from one of the most consistent developers out there, which is Ubisoft. You know, they're the people responsible for Splinter Cell and Prince of Persia and Beyond Good and Evil.
So, does 13 hold up as well as those titles? Well, here's our review. Alright, it's no secret that 13 is pretty. But how pretty is it? That's why throughout this review, we'll be playing
13, hot or not? Our first comparison is between unnecessary child of privilege Paris Hilton and 13. You guessed it, 13 is hotter.
The game isn't just graphically impressive, it's graphically inventive. 13 uses the comic book effect to add drama to the usual gunfights, and panel displays alert you to actions that are just out of view. But it's also integrated right into the gameplay. These visual onomatopoeias key you into an enemy and the direction they're walking in, and become essential for the onerous stealth missions in the game. More on that later.
Challenge 2, divorcee boy toy Ashton Kutcher, or 13. That's right, 13 is hotter.
Simply put, the game is so chock full of visual inventiveness that anyone will get a thrill playing to experience its creativity. Problem is, the thrill wanes once you want to play a good shooter. The game starts off strong with your loss of memory and the legions of men wanting your hide, followed by an exciting stealth mission in a bank, and a damn challenging firefight in some rocky cliffs. With the amazing firefights in games like Call of Duty and Halo, 13's combat just feels stilted. This is compounded by the abundance of stealth missions, especially at the end of the game.
Reporting is ordered, Captain.
See, stealth means you have to move slowly, which makes the game go slow. A little stealth is good. Too much turns 13 into a drag. But the game's imagery is enough to hold you to the end. You'll just wish that the strength of the game could match its looks. We're checking out but with reservations. We give it a 3 out of 5.
And our last challenge, expanded cable personality and exhibitionist extraordinaire Adam Sessler, or 13. You're right, ladies, the game's not that pretty.
Oh my eyes. Thank God the fig leaf flew into the picture.
No, that's a tattoo. By all means, check this game out. It is a unique and beautiful game, but really, that alone can't make up for the seriously flawed gameplay.
I'm still blind.
Just blink a bit. I also dislike David Duchovny's voice acting. It kind of sounds like he'd rather be investigating the odious goings-on at a rent-a-center. Still, the excellent voice work by Batman star Adam West more than makes up for it, and that's why I got so excited when I got the call.
Man, I'm never gonna make a difference. Hello?
This is Adam West. It's time for us to meet, Adam. Come to my secret hideout.
Finally! Fighting crime!
Hollywood, are you here to relieve me?
Yeah.
Oh, there's no bat cave on this.
And Robin with big exclamation point. There you go. Who are you looking for?
I'm looking for any Sith Lords.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to find Adam West.
Adam West?
You know, secret bat lair or anything like that around here?
One that way. You will see Batman.
Oh wait, your movie sucked.
Yeah, whatever. No, he wouldn't like that. Josh Huckabore, that's definitely not Adam West. Adam, where are you? No.
Adam, where are you?
Follow the signs, west.
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 Yes! Yes, 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 yes!
Ow!
Adam.
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 Adam, come in.
Adam.
Adam.
It's a pleasure.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad I finally found you.
Well, Adam, I don't know how the hell you did it, but good work.
All right,
Must
thank
be a
you.
crime fighter. Yes.
So, let's just start things off. Let's talk about the video game 13. You're doing the voice of General Carrington.
The night you disappeared, you were about to ID number 1.
When you go to do voice work for a video game, how does it work? You're there for 1, 2, 3 days?
You go in for maybe 3 hours. Usually, there are no other actors. You go in and work by yourself with the director and all the other folks. And it's a very creative thing because you have to, based on what they've told you, you have to kind of conjure up the character.
Those idiots still haven't found a way to fix this station.
You can prepare, really cook with it, and come in and bring something and do your work. And it's that simple. Hey, errand boy, come here. I gotta take another leak.
Now, you and your voice become a cultural icon. Let's talk about the role that got you there, and that's, of course, Batman.
Emergency. Batman speaking.
How did you come up with the way that the Batman talks?
All I had to do was pull on that cowl with the funny little ears, and I just instantly became Batman, and the speech patterns and whatever. Batman muses a lot, Adam?
Good thinking, Robin.
Yes, Commissioner. Yes, right away, Commissioner. Robin, to the bat poles!
Have you ever seen any of the Batman video games?
No.
All right, well, that's good for you because they're terrible.
I've heard rumors.
What's wrong?
Imagine this. You're hanging from a rope, spinning in slow circles with your ass 3 feet from the ground. Does that sound like Batman to you?
No, they missed the target. And, maybe we should do... You'd make a good Robin. Maybe we should do the game Batman the way it should be done.
Holy overly snug Robin suit, Batman!
It was the biggest size that they had.
Oh, God.
Would you rather the tattoo? So make up your mind. Wait, I gotta tell you, Adam West was so cool in person. It was a pleasure. It was an honor. Adam.
Yes, first naked photos of you, and then a Robin suit. We're gonna get so much prison mail.
What kind of prison?
Not the women's prison.
Much in the same way Schwarzenegger getting elected governor caused the networks to rerun Red Heat. Current events have now compelled the makers of Conflict Desert Storm to issue forth a sequel.
Yes, and of course we gave the first one a 2 out of 5. Is the second one better? And does anyone care? Find out in our review of Conflict Desert Storm 2.
Try as we might, we can't seem to get this guy. Now it's time for gamers everywhere to have a go. The problem is, Conflict Desert Storm 2 Back to Baghdad takes place during the 1991 Iraqi War, not the 2003 sequel. Oh well, there's still an odd chance we'll find him in the game, right? Yoo-hoo, Saddam, where are you? Come out, wherever you are. Okay, so Saddam doesn't actually make an appearance in the game. But that doesn't mean you don't have your work cut out for you, because Conflict Desert Storm 2 is very challenging. The game plays like a first or third person shooter, but because you can only control one man at a time, most of the buttons on your controller are used to give orders to your comrades.
You've got civilians down there. Check your fire.
The level of control over your squad is very impressive, but it's also a bitch to learn, especially the advanced location command, which takes 3 button presses and both analog sticks to pull off.
You've got to pick up the pace, or those Delta boys ain't gonna be around to say thanks.
Thank goodness both Scotty
Stand down. Private Will.
and Private Elmer Fudd aren't part of the squad.
Stand down. Private Will. Infantry!
Later, once you've mastered the controls, you'll find that the best way to play is slowly and carefully. Switch to the right character at the right time. You'll also find that there's more to the game than just shooting the bad guys. Secondary items in your inventory get a lot of use, especially the smoke bombs, which provide cover for your men. Unfortunately, these are now legal to use in all California bars. The game has 10 long missions with plenty of interesting objectives.
Be advised, Iraqi armor is deployed in the town.
The music in the game is pretty generic stuff, but finally someone decided to implement the personal soundtrack feature. Oh yeah, now that's music to fight by. It's much more satisfying to play through the campaign with a few buddies. And because each soldier has different abilities, every player is going to have something interesting and unique to contribute to the team. Conflict Desert Storm 2 is Xbox Live enabled, but don't get your hopes up. You can't actually play the game online. For a game that screams team play like this one, not being able to play online is a real sore spot. If you can get by the steep learning curve, there's some pretty compelling gameplay here. Certainly enough to keep you busy for a while.
Taking fire!
X-Play gives Conflict Desert Storm 2 Back to Baghdad a 3 out of 5.
Wow, from a 2 out of 5 to a 3 out of 5. Way to reach for the stars.
Yeah. Maybe by the third installment you'll actually be able to find Saddam. That'd be totally worth a 4.
Up next, we learn that violence is the answer in WWE Smackdown.
Is it glamorous being a host of X-Play? Well, my definition of glamour definitely allows it to be very glamorous. You know, they give me a chair to sit in, and there's some air conditioning most of the time, and every so often I get to play games. It's
to step up and being a banker.
Once again, the wacky shenanigans of Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to X-Play. You know we have a wrestling game.
Yes, and it's probably the best WWE game on the market.
Woo! It has more different kinds of matches than we can count and has a good story mode.
And there's girls who wrestle in their underwear. Yeah! Here's a review of WWE Smackdown. Here comes the pain.
Pain? But where?
You know who you are, wrestling fans. Whether you're still in the closet or even if you can be seen wearing a Goldberg t-shirt. Luckily, WWE Smackdown Here Comes the Pain goes out of its way to give you your fix. All the usual wrestlers are standing in attendance. Plus, their similarities to their real-world counterparts can be scary. Oh yes, definitely spooky. This latest installment features revamped grappling mechanics, which is a break from SmackDown's previous emphasis on fast-paced arcade-style gameplay. But I don't want to imply that the game isn't still fast-paced. It's just that now you initiate a grapple of the specific type and then select a specific maneuver. It's as simple as that, and that, and that. This provides much more depth and tactical capabilities than in previous SmackDown games. It's beautiful, really. Additionally, a reversal system has been implemented that allows you to perform the I've got you, no, I've got you dance over and over again. Among the most significant features in Here Comes the Pain is the revamped season mode, and the seasons come complete with vicious backstage brawls. Get 'em. Plus, it's simply your best chance to try and hypnotize famous wrestlers like Goldberg, for example. You are getting sleepy, Goldberg. Sleepy, sleepy. Ringside, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain may be the best-looking wrestling game out there. You can play any of the ladder matches, cage matches, and tag team combos that have become standard in the world of wrestling games. But this game also introduces the especially brutal bra and panties match. The object here is to, well, rip off your opponent's clothes. Ah, the humanity. Shake it off, sister. So let's see. The Create a Wrestler feature is as solid as it ever was. I know that's important to some of you. But as much as we'd love to hear a few sound bites from the actual wrestlers, we're still stuck filling in the lip sync ourselves. Blah, 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 blah. Can I borrow those underwear? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, any wrestling fan worth their salt will love this game. So slam this one down in your letter to Santa. We're giving SmackDown Here Comes the Pain a 4 out of 5.
What is it about scantily clad women in our fan base?
I'm not sure. But I bet that you can probably find the answer on our website. That's at techtv.com/xplay. And by answers, I mean streaming video of our anime porn segment and the Max Payne 2 naked moaning sheet, or that picture of me with the
Up next, what's going on in this scene from Armed and Dangerous?
I never tired of that sound.
Run for your lives! It's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
We're back, and with a new non-Star Wars game from LucasArts.
And why should you care? 3 words. Land, shark, gun. Here's our review of Armed and Dangerous.
Show me your papers, now!
You don't need to see our papers.
We don't need to see your papers.
At LucasArts, they know all about Jedi mind tricks.
You're both French.
We surrender!
Okay, so maybe Armed and Dangerous ain't Star Wars, but it is a whole mess of fun.
He'll split open the dead beast's stomach and stick Rexus amongst the warm entrails. Should keep him warm for at least a day.
No, that's not necessary. Just stick it in there.
Armed and Dangerous is a futuristic Old West-style shoot-'em-up, filtered through Monty Python. You play Roman, the leader of a ragtag gang of Robin Hood-esque freedom fighters. Your cohorts include a giant tea-sipping robot, a smelly old man with a glass eye, and a Scottish rat thingy.
I'm a mole, you smelly git!
Your goal? To overthrow the despotic rule of this guy.
I never tire of that sound.
The wackiness extends well beyond the cutscenes. Among your arsenal, you have some pretty groovy weapons. There's the topsy-turvy bomb, which turns the primal forces of gravity against your enemies. And the new all-time X-Play favorite weapon, the land shark gun. Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun. Yeah! Chompy, chompy. But, and this is a big but, when the wackiness stops, the game gets real dull real fast. Sure, it's fun to rain devastation down on your foes with the personal mortar cannon the first couple dozen times, but how many bullseye houses do we have to blow up? It gets old. And for a game with such cool guns, you spend an awful lot of time just mowing down foes and innocent penguin bystanders with a plain old machine gun. Yawn. Bang. Yawn. And for every mission where you have to save a sacred sheep... Oh, or not save it. There's a whole bunch where you have to save villagers by dragging their floppy-ass bodies from one place to another. The occasional wipe out the oncoming army with a turret gun level adds some variety, but you're still mostly just shooting specks.
Look, the enemy's approaching. What do you suggest?
Armed and Dangerous seems like it's trying so hard to reach for the golden ring of wackiness that it can't quite stay on the horse.
Yes, we can plant a hedgerow.
If the hilarious creativity that went into the cutscenes and weapons had found its way into the actual gameplay, it would have been a truly standout title. As it is, we can only give Armed and Dangerous a less than wacky 3 out of 5.
Ow, me legs!
I love the land shark gun! Thanks for watching, and visit our website to see even more of Adam's interview with Adam West.
Must not black out. That's my Batman. Anyway, you can find it on our website, techtv.com/xplay. There you also have the naked Mona and naked anime and naked me. Sorry.
Yeah, but there's also lots of stuff with
reviews of the games. You probably want to read those a lot
Good
more.
Night.
Bye.
My name is Wolf Morrow, and I'm the world record holder for the fastest time through the Tomb Raider 2 obstacle course. My family's been deeply involved in gaming since the late 70s. I started entering video game contests back when it was considered a geek's passion. My father and brother are avid gamers as well. They're both currently working on the fastest possible completion of The Legend of Zelda. Eventually we ran out of ideas and couldn't get a time faster than 105.7. I was convinced I could do better. Using an approach similar to the late Bruce Lee's philosophy, I took only the most effective parts of each method or style I could find through extensive research on the internet. I then made a solution set of these techniques and started applying them to the game. It took me 6 hours of constant attempts before I could finally nail 103.9 on videotape. I never gave up until I got the record without any cheats.
Gosh, that was my best time yet.
Coming up this week,
we're telling you about the games of spring.
And don't miss G4TV.retro, classic episodes of the show every day at 4 p.m.
Not 8, of course. No, it's 8.
Stay tuned. G4TV.com. Next.
So we're so excited to have co-hosting with us today video game music composer, winner of more than 20 awards for Best Game Soundtrack, and The Dark Side of Judgment Day, Mr. Tommy Talarico.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and you know what? I really love the name Tommy Talarico. It's so cool. It's like a tough guy name. You're like, hey, I'm Tommy Talarico.
Yeah, it kind of has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it totally does. Like, yo, you don't Mr. Tommy Talarico. Hey, Talarico, we're gonna rumble tonight. Hey, oh.
Actually, it's a good name for like a pizza joint. Like, hey, Tommy, I need 3 more pies.
Tommy Talarico, Tommy, pull up, Tommy, pull up.
and if you don't stop, I'm gonna kick your ass, all right?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so drawn to you right now.
Really? And I to you.
Cool. Everybody, welcome to G4 TV. Tina, my love, how have you been all week? What's been going on?
It's just been great.
Yeah?
Been playing a few video games.
Got any plans for the weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, not going to share them with me.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm heading off to New York because
I'm
you
not
know how I
having a
love
barbecue
New
at my house,
York. And speaking of, this, so joining us this week is one of the nuttiest men in gaming. He is the nut between our berries, Mr. Tommy Talarico.
The hell does that mean?
I don't know, but I like that. Thanks for the kiss, by the way.
I just say stuff.
I've been meaning to do that for about 2.5 years now, so...
Call me.
Yeah, we'll get together.
Speaking of calling,
you're next.
Okay, great. Yeah,
Tina, let's take a call, just for fun.
Hey,
we'll make out
caller.
later.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, what's your name?
Jay.
Jay, where are you calling from?
L.A.
LA, what do you want to talk about?
I was calling about Fable and how you could play both good and evil, and I was just wondering, since Laura played it, which was more fun to play good or evil?
I did play it, actually. I spent a little time with it this past week.
What side do you think Laura played as?
Okay, I'm saying evil.
Yes.
But listen, guys, let me tell you something. It was so hard for me to play evil. Like, I played... normally, my intentions would be good, but I played evil, and I couldn't even think of as many evil things to do as this game wanted me to do. Like, my friends were coming over and telling me to do this other extra evil thing that my mind doesn't even go that way. That's how good this game is.
Yeah, this game's great. We had a chance to play it as well. I played a little bit of the good side. But the thing is, you don't really choose, like, good or evil at the beginning. It's a lot like life, when you actually make choices as you grow older. And, and you had a chance to play it as well.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of like, do you want to be Victor Lucas or Tommy Talarico? It's good and evil, right? And but the thing about this game is I think you'll see a lot of these games, newer games, it's drawing you in. It's giving you a connection to the character, and putting you in this environment that you can do anything you want. And to me, that's cool. That's interactive entertainment.
Now, Carl, are you a big fan of RPGs?
Not so much, not the Japanese RPGs, more of American RPGs like Fallout and stuff.
Well, let me tell you, like, I don't know, I personally never really have been grabbed by one. Yeah. But this one, I just think was awesome, and I suggest you go out and try it because it totally held my attention. There's so many fun things about the game. Like, first of all, it's a funny game.
It is funny. It's an emotional game, and I think Peter Molyneux does a really good job of drawing you in emotionally to your main character, where you truly sympathize with him, and you really want to see
evil,
him.
then you just hate him.
Then you hate him.
Right, yeah.
But you do. I think you really. I was rooting for him, unlike a lot of characters that you just. They don't draw you in as much as I think this game does. Hey, caller.
Hey.
Hey, what's your name?
Tim Donnelly.
Tim, where are you calling from?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. What would you like to talk about?
First, I'd just like to say I like all 3 of your shows really much.
Oh, thanks.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Who does she like better? Now let's move on.
Yeah, what would you like to talk about?
I'd like to talk about the recent bankruptcy of Acclaim.
Yes, Acclaim, a.k.a. Lame?
Yeah.
No, Acclaim, you know what it was about Acclaim is that it seemed like, and they've been around a long time,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they never really had that, they never had that Grand Theft Auto, that Zelda, that, they were always like, they were always like, I mean, they had Turok, which was kind of good.
But the third one sucked. Well, they had Burnout 3.
Sorry, what were you saying, caller?
Well, they actually did do some pretty good stuff. Like they produced Smash TV and Mortal Kombat.
Again, you hate to see any video game publisher go under, but it's kind of a lesson in mediocrity. You really need, this industry is built on hits, similar to the music industry.
Right, absolutely.
And they just never really had that one big hit. They never
At
had
least
their
not
Tomb Raider,
recently. Not recently.
Yeah.
Were you a big Acclaim fan?
I love to hate them.
You love to hate them.
Okay, well, fair enough then.
Right. It's just like it happened back in Atari. Atari was the only company that was making video games for a long time. As far as then, it began to get mainstream, and everybody started to join and jump on a bandwagon. Well, eventually, Atari, other companies began to go under because there's not enough room for everybody. Everybody can't make $1 billion. There's not that many bazillion dollars to go around.
Okay, good point, Tina. But you know what? You guys at home, keep your ass right where it is, because later on in the show, we're going to show the game that I thought was one of the best at E3. You know what it is? You don't say anything.
But you're not right. There's not enough room for everybody.
Hey, you guys, we are about to rock this party, but joining Tina and I is video games' very own rock star, the hottie Tommy Talarico.
The hottie Tommy Talarico.
There he is. Get off my man, I'll kill you. Hey, but Tina, when your friends say to you, when's the new G4TV.com's premiere? What do you say?
I say Wednesdays, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific.
That's right, Tina. Wednesdays, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Now you know where to go.
Check it out, definitely.
But Tina, in the meantime, let's take a call.
Hey, caller.
Hey.
Hey, what's your name?
Jason.
Jason, where are you calling from?
Gate City, Virginia.
All right, what you calling about?
Well, since you guys were just talking about rock stars, have you guys heard anything about the new GTA game?
Yes, we have.
All right.
Been keeping tabs, actually.
Tommy, why don't you take this one?
It is unbelievable. Grand Theft Auto has taken it to a new level. I mean, this time around, you can actually, it puts you so much into the world. You can actually, like, you know, you have to get your hair cut or else it'll grow too long. If you don't work out, you actually start to become fat.
Which I was just saying, though, it's like in a video game, it's like the one place you don't have to worry about your weight and everything.
No,
else.
but
So,
it's like
let me
Grand
get
Theft
fat.
Auto meets The Sims. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Rockstar is the mastermind of like genre blending.
There's Vegas, San Francisco,
Los
you're in
Angeles.
LA.
Yeah, the environment, I think, it says 5 times larger than it was in Vice City. And robbery, apparently, is like the big difference in this game, is that you get to go steal from everybody that you know that you don't know.
break into houses, man.
And they're taking it to the hood, yo.
That's right. Taking it thug style,
Now,
you know.
Are you a Grand Theft Auto fan? Hey,
What?
Jason, are you a Grand Theft Auto fan?
Yes, I am.
So what are you most looking forward to in San Andreas?
Definitely having to keep everything up. You know, like Tommy said, the haircut and the food and the working out. That's going to be a little bit of a work. It's going to be a lot like The Sims, I guess.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, and I'm going to ask Tommy as well. With their predecessors, you know, 3 and Vice City, huge, like landmark games. Do you think San Andreas is going to be able to hold up the caliber and raise the bar even further?
I think with this game, their approach that they're taking, I really do think that, you know, it's going to have more fans, and I think this game's going to sell more units than the previous two.
Yeah, and not just based on the franchise name. I think it's really going to top it.
Yeah. I mean, look at the
Tina?
graphics, too. Even the graphics are a lot better. They spent a lot of time on the animations and the fighting system this time around to make it more fun.
I think it's going to do well. I don't think it's going to do as well. Only the fact I think there's so many great games coming out that I don't
but
think
you're
people
wrong.
have so much money.
You think a lot of weird things. Hey, caller, let me ask you something. What do you think?
Well, I think it'll just do just fine. It probably will top GTA Vice City, but I don't know about topping Grand Theft Auto 3 and stuff since the fall.
All right, well, he agrees with me.
You'll learn.
That's right, Jason.
Alrighty then, we'll hang
You're
on.
my guy.
Thank you for calling.
Appreciate it. Let's take one more. Hey, caller.
Hello?
Hey, what's your name?
This is Ray, a.k.a. King Kong Sushi.
King Kong
Sushi, I
on
know
the
that,
boards. Hey, what you calling about, King Kong Sushi?
I'd like to ask Tommy a question.
Well, he's right in front of me.
All right, who or what inspired you to become a video game music producer?
Who inspired me? Well, I've been playing. Well, there's the girls, of course. No, I always wanted to do music. I mean, you know, my whole life, you know, I listened to people like John Williams and Beethoven growing up, and I never thought I'd actually put the two together until I came out here and met a video game producer the third day I was in California.
Wow. How did that happen? How did you blend your video game love with your music love?
It was crazy. I came out here when I was 21, didn't have a place to stay,
Just
no
last
money,
year.
nothing. I was just sleeping on the beach and under the pier at Huntington Beach.
Is that true?
And I got a
That's
job
so hot, Tommy.
and I got a job at Guitar Center, and I was wearing a TurboGrafx T-shirt.
I get all my pics from the Guitar Center, by the way.
You see? And the first person who walked in was a games producer. And he saw my TurboGrafx T-shirt.
Right.
We struck up a conversation, and I started in the test department the next day. So a great way to get in the industry is working your way up the ladder, like in any industry.
Totally.
So starting on the bottom and working your way up. If anybody's interested in getting in music, they should go to www.audiogang.org, which is a nonprofit organization I started a couple years ago. We have tons of like every video game guy and gal in the world.
Is that your new site?
No, my news site. That's Talarico.com.
Talarico.com.
Thank you.
So King Kong Sushi, if you want to know more about Tommy, head to Talarico. Or if you want to know about their relationship,
it's
go to
fascinating
TalaricoandLaura.com.
Tell me later.
Thanks, caller. Appreciate it.
Okay, you guys, we got to take a break. But, speaking of guys, at the end of the show, the three of us are going to play a little of The Guy Game.
Really?
It's this new trivia game directed at men because, they show boobs.
Lots of boobs.
But, therefore, one of us might be showing some boob. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Stay tuned.
This is a new kind of show today.
Taking it to the next level.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to G4 TV. And you know what? If you think Tina and I are opinionated, then you haven't met our special host for the week. Screw the Tommy Knockers. It's Tommy Talarico.
Yeah.
Yay! In the house. In the house. There you go.
Hey.
All right, well, let me tell you, Tina.
Yes.
Adding sexy and Italian to the title of this next bit would be the only way to make it describe Tommy any better. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the segment that has been named after the man about to do it, it's time for Twisted and Sweet, presented by Juicy.
I'm Twisted. Okay, the game I chose is one of my favorite game franchises of all time, Gallop Racer. And you're like, okay. No, but Gallop Racer 2004. This is an amazing game. I mean, it has so many RPG elements. It's crazy. You have to, you know, in this year's version, you really have to, you know, build up your horse and build up your, you know, and horses can make love.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
There's
Just like me
mating
and Laura making love.
Now, were those the jockeys? We played this game.
Well, that's the thing. That's why it's twisted, is the jockeys in the setup are these cute little big-headed, weird-looking characters, but then once you get on a horse, you're normal again. So I guarantee anyone that goes out and puts any amount of time in this is going to flip out. It's unbelievable.
I believe you. I really enjoyed the first one, or the previous one.
Yeah.
We believe you, Tom.
Missing online, though. I want to see horse racing online.
All right. Well, now, what do we have next, Tommy?
Well, all right. I'd like to introduce a guy right now. Are you ready for this? He's been in the industry as long as I have, 14 years.
Wow.
I know this because we used to work at Virgin together. We started at Virgin together. He was 17 years old when he started in the industry. And I have an incriminating photo of him, by the way.
I think it's incriminating of you.
I think those orange pants are coming back.
You know?
Yeah.
When are those orange pants coming back?
Yeah, I don't think they're ever coming back,
They're not
Tommy.
coming back. But anyway, please welcome a video game veteran, one of the designers and creators of Gex, and president of Heavy Iron Studio, who just, by the way, finished up working on The Incredibles.
Here.
Mr. Lyle Hall.
Making a second appearance on TV.
Thank you very much.
Now, we won't get into the picture, but that...
I haven't seen that picture in 14 years.
You haven't seen that picture in 14 years.
No,
It was crazy. Now, you got in the industry, you were working at, like, Babbage's,
I was working at, I was in the mall selling video games. Yes, I was.
That's right.
That's a true
That's
video
awesome.
game
But you know, I kind of really want to talk about Incredibles because I did pick it as one of my favorite games at E3.
All right.
It's awesome. So tell us a little bit about the making of this game versus the movie.
Sure thing. The Incredibles is an action game. It's based on Pixar and Disney's film. You get to play 5-player characters, so we've got a tremendous amount of variety. It follows the basic story of the film, but we've been able to add some levels and some environments and some areas to the game that do not appear in the film. So it's a pretty cool experience if you like the characters, you like the film, if you're a big fan of Pixar content. I think we made the best game out of a Pixar property that's been made to date, that's for sure.
Now, Tadakin from the boards wants to know, can you play as Frozone? And does Samuel Jackson do any voiceovers for it?
Sure thing. You cannot play directly as Frozone. Frozone is in a huge portion of the game. He's sort of the voice of the game. When you start up the game, you can hear him through all the menus. When you pause the game, he kind of says, "Hey, don't you want to see Frozone in action?" Oh. I know I do. he was an absolute treat to work with in the voiceover recording studio. So you don't get to play him, but you get to hear him throughout the entire game, and you get to see him in film footage from the movie that's actually in the game, and we also have him in cutscenes that we've animated in the game as well.
Kevin Rowdy wants to know any incentives to completing the game multiple times, such as cool modes, characters, or thingies to unlock.
We've got a ton of stuff to unlock. We've got some unbelievably cool cheat codes that let us sort of tweak the characters or tweak the game experience or tweak how you control the experience. We've got 18 minutes of footage from the film. I believe about 5 of that is unlockable, so you can only see stuff from the film if you actually go through and you find all the little incredible icons that are sprinkled throughout the levels of the game. We don't have sort of that kind of crazy replayability where you play it 8 or 9 or 10, 15 times unless you really like the game that much, which we're hoping that you do. We've spent a lot of time trying to make sure it's a fun game. But we think that the Pixar footage in particular and then some of those really cool cheat codes. We actually have a battle mode on GameCube and PS2 that you can unlock after you beat the third boss.
Well, see, there you go, Kevin Rowdy. Let's take a call. Hey, caller.
Hello.
Hey, what's your name?
I'm the host.
The host, where are you calling from?
No, I'm the host.
I'm the host.
Damn it!
Where are you calling from, the host?
Illinois.
Illinois. What's your question for Lyle about The Incredibles?
I just wondered, I've seen some of the clips of the movie, and it's like very tongue-in-cheek humor. Will the game capture some of the humor of the movie?
Definitely. We went out of our way to try to pick not only some of the coolest looking scenes from the film, but to capture that humor, to take some of the really funny scenes from the film and to interslice that between the game levels. We also got the story manager, a guy named Mark Andrews from Pixar, who's just an amazingly talented guy. He went over the game script for all the dialogue that we wrote himself, just to make sure that the characters sounded authentic. So he was able to put all that great humor that he wrote into the script for the film into the script for the game as well.
Talk about the sound.
The sound is freaking awesome. I don't know where we found these guys. I think Tommy Talarico Incorporated.
Hey,
that's
right. Hey, listen, Lyle, thank you so much. The game looks like a boatload of fun, and we are out of time. But trust me, you at home, you're not going to want to go anywhere because after this, it's movie time. Okay, everybody, we are back. And the man who always comes back, it seems like, is John Madden.
Boom.
Year after year after year.
Yes, he does.
He sure does. But because of that, we've been covering the EA Sports Madden Challenge for 3 weeks now. It is a 32-city, 17-week tournament ending in Sin City, Las Vegas, where the winner gets a big, fat 50 grand. So let's check in with the tour right now.
Hey, Sparks here for the 2004 EA Sportsman Challenge, where we just brought something new to the tour. Reebok and Champ Sports present the Can You Beat the D-Train competition. Anyone that can come through and beat the legendary D-Train, the #1 Madden stunner in our crew, walks away with $1,000.
They're 1 out of 2. 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3. It's gonna be defense win championship. Get ready, boy.
If you think you can beat the D-Train, here he is.
I need him to talk train. How you feel, man? You just lost the first D-Train challenge. I feel good. Hey, what can you do about a fumble? It's football, you know what I'm saying? So my man D-Train is still standing strong over here, confident that he's the best Madden player in the nation. So man up, squad up, get your game tight, go out there and get your $1,000, man.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sparks. Now, there's been a lot of talk about this new game called The Guy Game.
Yes.
It's basically You Don't Know Jack meets Girls Gone Wild.
Yes.
It's a trivia game, and the better you perform, the more boobs you get to see. If the girls in the game answer incorrectly, then they gotta flash you. So we're gonna play a quick round of The Guy Game, and I think it's really only fair that whoever gets the most wrong has to flash everybody.
Yes.
Yes,
Cool,
I
guys.
agree.
That's
I agree.
cool.
You
All right,
guys are
let's
going down.
play.
Here we
Let's
go.
play.
Good for me.
Let's play some
Good trivia.
What
Causes a seismic ocean wave? Come on. Come on. Moon's gravity.
Come on, A. Is it the moon's gravity?
No, it's earthquake, isn't it? Darn it.
It's earthquake.
Is it earthquake?
All right.
Because seismic.
Here is your question.
Oh, man.
What causes a seismic ocean wave?
Come on, Nora. Talk to me.
Earthquake?
The correct answer is earthquake. You got away from me.
All right.
You got away from me. I tried to make him difficult.
I got her wrong. Hey, will you guys stop clicking back there? You're clicking by the good
The great
part.
man Miles Davis is known for playing which instrument?
Oh, my God, man. Oh. Tommy T gets the music question. Tommy T gets the music question.
What's Tommy T get it wrong?
What if I get it wrong? No.
right.
Yes.
This game is retarded.
Okay, here we go.
Is she
Look
doing
at
it
her.
right?
Don't anyone hit the buttons. I want to see this.
Yeah, right.
But I gotta tell you, I got a hard one. All right, the question is, Miles Davis is known for playing what instrument?
Hey, she don't know nothing.
She doesn't know she's
Here we go.
a nurse.
Oh, I know who that is.
You know who that is? What instrument does he play?
The trumpet.
Oh,
Correct answer is the trumpet, guys. I don't know what to tell
She's
you.
jumping up and down, though, anyway.
But you want her to get it wrong, right? Because then
We
you
only
can see
have one
boobs.
question left. So far, this game has no boobs.
But watch
Yeah,
this.
This is the
Hey,
real game.
watch this. Trumpet, I gotta be back on top. Who's gonna get
This
it
game
right?
is so hard, guys.
Oh, stop it. Speaking of...
All right, last question. Last question.
What is the most popular playing piece in a Monopoly game?
You both picked A. So I'm just watching what you're pressing, so I don't even have to know
I don't
the
think
answer.
you can cheat when there's flashing at stake.
Okay. I give the game a 3 out of 5.
Oh, Melissa Rammer. They don't know.
My favorite.
All right, the question is, what is the most popular playing piece in a Monopoly game?
Yes? Come on, Melissa.
She don't know.
She don't know.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, the horse is incorrect. The race car is the most popular. That's the one everybody likes. But you know what? Ladies, I'm not going to make you flash because they didn't make enough noise last time you did.
Show me
All
the
right,
goods.
now you have to flash.
Show
1, 2,
the
3.
goods. Yeah!
Show me those Guy Game logos.
All right, let's check the scores.
All right.
Because I think I might have hopefully not lost.
All right.
Let's see.
I don't know. It's pretty close.
I think Laura's going down.
I think Laura's going down.
I think I'm going down.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Woo! Tina's at 72. Tommy's at 68.
Oh!
This is
This is looking cool.
All right.
Show the audience.
All right, I'm a woman of her word.
Show the audience. Show the audience.
All right, I want to thank you to Lyle Hall and thank you, Tommy. We're out of here.